process much better than, for example, Lamar Jackson can. But the issue with Purdy is he gets a little nervous. So my main thing with Purdy is he can process the plays really well. That is so important in this league. If he can't improve, though, he'll never win. Have a great day, fellas.
Well, I mean, improve. I mean, he's 60 minutes away from being Super Bowl champion. I mean, the one thing that he needs to improve on, he's not going to get a rocket arm. He goes through his progressions beautifully. He actually runs better than you think. Picks up really important yardage. No, I don't want this to be a bashing Brock Purdy a week, but I just don't think he's in the same level as the great quarterbacks. That's all.
Now, they're in the Super Bowl. And let's say they lose the Super Bowl, which many people believe they're going to. Well, then you're in the same position you were with Garoppolo.
Yep.
Shanahan got rid of Garoppolo because he didn't think he can get any farther with him. We'll see what happens with him.
And you're in the same position the Rams were with Goff.
Maybe you're in that same situation. Maybe he'll say, listen, this is a good quarterback, but when it comes time to pay him, if they don't win and they're still very good, it might go the same way. We've seen this organization.
We'll take home a $25 Fanatics gift card and have a chance at one of 10 Superbox prizes. Be caller number, is it nice Michael or bad Michael? What are you feeling, Don? Nice Michael or bad Michael?
No, nice Michael, because I enjoy Anthony's company.
Be caller number 11 right now at 888-987-ESPN. That's for Brett Gardner to select a box for the big game with a chance to win $500 in the first and third quarters, $1,000 at halftime, and a final score payout of $2,000. All brought to you by Tullamore Irish Whiskey, and the brand new Tullamore Honey and Security Dodge. Come get some. I've got a very tough question for Peter when we get back. But first, Don's going to tell us about bathwater.
My favorite babysitter is Annalisa. She's pretty good. She's like my grandma. She says, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" She plays with me. She helps you feel better. Bugs and insects are healthy for you. Amelia took us to the beach. She teaches me some gymnastics. We like color. We draw flowers, and then we go skateboarding.
From babysitters to nannies to daycare centers. Find all the care you need at care.com.
Guys, let's be honest. Buying pants sucks. It should not be this difficult. I'm looking for that one pair of pants that does everything. These just came in. They're the only pant from Fabletics Men. 4-way stretch, done. All-way stretch, you're going to feel the difference. The best thing about the only pant, honestly, everything. You almost forget about the deal that you're getting. Same premium quality as Lululemon, but at a third of the price.
So, you need a suit, a tux even? Maybe you got invited to a fancy party, or you're someone's plus one, and the last time you resorted to a warehouse, you didn't like the way you looked. This time, get a better suit from the Black Tux, and we'll deliver it with time to spare. Try it on. If the fit isn't right, we'll replace it right away, for free. And on the big day, you'll look as great as you feel. With the Black Tux, it's easy to look your best for every occasion. TheBlackTux.com. Formal wear for the moment.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always. So you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
It started when he ordered his Brunt work boots. He's going on about how they're comfortable as sneakers, but he never takes them off. With his buddies at night, I caught him in the shower, and he just goes, "What? They're waterproof."
Brunt, the tools you wear.
Can a handyman fix my leaky faucet?
How much does it cost to have my HVAC checked?
How do I know I have mold?
What do water pipes break?
Home questions don't have to keep you up at night. Get peace of mind with Thumbtack. We'll connect you with local pros for any home project, from a small fix to a big remodel. See transparent prices, read verified reviews, and book with just a tap. Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
Stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
If you watch Yes Network on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download the app to stream the Nets and experience the game in a whole new way with live stats, pick and play, and Yes rewards. So remember, if you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download now.
News today in sports, and I immediately felt a pang of concern for my good buddy Peter. Yeah. The guy that everybody thought was going to be the next Commanders coach supposedly just pulled himself out of the running. He's deciding to stay as the offensive coordinator of the Lions rather than take the job with the Commanders. It's such a distasteful job. They have so much cap room. They have the number 2 pick in the draft.
Distasteful.
And he doesn't want any part of it. So Peter, who's next? Do they pivot to Belichick?
I don't know.
Sounds like they're going to pivot to Aaron Glenn.
I don't understand the Aaron Glenn thing, though. Is the Detroit defense that great?
No, they like him. Apparently, that's the report from Schefter, is that they were surprised, but have a lot of respect for Aaron Glenn.
And also, he reported that Johnson scared teams off. He wanted so much money. I mean, how much money could he be making with the Lions?
Maybe it wasn't about how much he's making with the Lions, more about the fact that he just doesn't particularly want to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you could be a head coach. There's only 32 jobs.
Listen, you don't have to convince me.
So you giving up on your team because they can't even hire a coach?
Why would I give up on my team?
It's not a good look.
This is just a weird take by you.
I'm the king of weird takes.
You're the king of weird.
But think of it. He's a hot commodity. He believes in the team that he's coaching. Mm-hmm. Thinks Detroit can maybe win a Super Bowl.
Likes to go for it on fourth down.
And then he can have his pick of jobs.
Well, this is a great job. I mean, all kidding aside, it's a great job.
All the jobs are great, but maybe he feels that I can get more money if I can win a Super Bowl with this team. And there'll be other great jobs that'll be available.
But you know what? He should have listened to his head coach. They might not get back to this point ever again.
Okay. But now you're obviously looking at it
half empty,
very logically, and with a glass half.
That's my life.
Now, it's not, listen, you never know if you're going to get another job opportunity. Who knows what happens? Detroit takes a huge step back. He's not a hot
it could be Wink Martindale.
And then he's stuck. But he probably believes in himself and he believes in his team. And he thinks, all right, listen, the Commanders is a slow burn. We don't have a quarterback right now. And if I go and jump to this job just because it's a job, and 2-3 years from now I lose and then I get fired, well, I may never be able to get a coaching job again. So no disrespect to Washington, but maybe there's another job that's got a quarterback and a lot more potential where at least my first chance at a head coaching position has a better chance to be a successful one. So that's looking at the glass half full.
Yeah, it surprised me. Even Damian Woody said on Twitter, make it make sense. He said that they have all this cap room. They have the number 2 pick, so they're going to get the second best quarterback in the draft. And, they got a great owner who's willing to spend a lot of money. So what's bad about that job? In a real football hotbed that's been starving. It's like they become the Knicks of the NFL. Poor Peter.
No, I don't feel that way at all.
I don't know why you have to feel like this is the end-all, be-all.
That's not where I'm at. I'm not worried about that. I don't feel that way. They were on their way out there, and they got the call that he's not doing it. It's not like they met with him and he said, I don't like what I heard. He pulled out right away. So, listen, I wasn't in love with him. They have a great offense. Does that mean I know he's going to be a great head coach? I can't be upset about that's like such a modern day dumb sports fan move to like scream and cry that you didn't get someone when you didn't even have any idea if that person was going to be good. How mad am I supposed to get? Ben Johnson? I'd never heard of him at the beginning
outside
of the
season. Olympics.
Except for that one, he was a cheater.
And Canadian.
And Don loves
like
Canadians.
Don would love to be. That's right.
Don would love to be. He'd love to be. Well, just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, but you want to swim in those waters, Michael, and Peter's not biting. You're making your friend and
you're
co-host.
right, Don.
That's right.
To me, it's very telling. Peter doesn't care as much about the Commanders as he fancies himself.
No.
Why would I get upset about losing Ben Johnson?
Yeah.
And listen, I've told you guys, like, the Terps won the title in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. I'm still good. I'm still good.
22 years later.
Well, it's college basketball. It's so hard to win one, right? There are a million teams. I'm good. I lived through it. I was there. I was at Maryland. I'm good. The Commanders got rid of Dan Snyder last year. I never thought that would happen. It was my wildest dream. My nightmare was they'll win one day with him, and I'll still have a dark feeling like we won, but I hate them. We got rid of Snyder. I'm good.
Right.
I hope they find the coach.
I just want you to be happy.
Well, I am. No, I'm
happy. Well, but I just don't understand why he'd be devastated. He doesn't know Ben Johnson from Adam. We don't know if it would even work.
Well, Ben's brother is Adam. Twin brother Adam. Ben and Adam Johnson.
Is that true? Look at me right now.
I made it.
I'm among the most handsome people in sports.
No. Television.
I'm one of the most handsome people in all of television. I'm worried about who the Commanders' head coach is. I'm good.
Now, I saw a clip that you sent out yesterday where you interviewed these two wrestling jabronis, and I knew exactly where you were at the Trop.
Oh, really? Why'd you call them jabronis? That wasn't very nice.
I don't know who they are. And
if you kept watching, you would have seen I interviewed CM Punk as well. But
I just said to myself, not like out loud, because I talk to myself in my head. I said, Peter's damn good on the air. Just a natural comfortableness. That's the best way I could put it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got a lot of positive reviews from that little
I mean, it's just like you were meant to do that.
Well, I'll give you a little BTS at WWE. Did you see that they recently hired Lee Fitting?
Yes, the guy from ESPN.
Who started College Game Day.
Right.
So Lee I met him for the first time this weekend, but he's like very big, obviously, on sort of real feel sports style, because that's what he comes from. So that was one thing that they wanted to bring back, was me doing the little walk around thing.
I loved it. And you were really good at it.
Because my dream, I always loved the idea of doing live shows. Like Michael always wanted to do Family Feud.
Yes.
That's his small dream.
A sports family.
Sports family feud.
I always, in that realm of like, because I don't think that's your number one dream in life.
No, I'm living my number one dream. Right.
Right. So I already have done the things I dreamed of doing, but in terms of that realm of things I always fancied myself to be good at if I got the chance, the style that I always thought I'd excel in would be either red carpet or like New Year's Eve. I really like live talking and interviewing, and so like getting to do that at WWE is sort of the best of everything, because it's that live free. It's replicating the grid walk that they do with the car races, and I love getting to do that. It's a ball.
Hey, if there was a television network that we knew people at,
go ahead,
that took a knee on New Year's,
which we have.
Why? Well, we should take advantage of that. Why don't we
I don't know why ESPN has never, ever done a New Year's Eve
extravaganza. I'm talking about Yes.
But that's a local New Year's Eve.
So there's people in New York.
ESPN, it screams out, why not do a New Year's Eve show?
Because I don't think we'd be considered. But for Yes, I think if we had the three of us, New York, we'd all clamoring to put that on. We could have like a sports theme to it.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be so much fun.
What if we did it from Michael's house?
Well,
and then just have Charlie drop a ball.
Listen, we could do all these things. We could do the sports family feud leading into it. Or have JJ Devaney
come over and drop Charlie.
That's right on his head. But we could do the sports family feud leading in, because we do we go on the air at like 9, right?
I like
a nice 3 hours leading into the ball dropping. It would actually be a baseball that drops.
I love this.
We do the sports family feud. We do a few one-on-ones that maybe are pre-taped, because I don't know if you're going to be able to get guests at that point. We do it right there at Yankee Stadium. We invite people to come.
Well, in the stadium.
In the stadium.
December 31st. In the cold.
Well, what's Times Square?
Freezing.
Heated?
Freezing. And it's worse because the security can't even go to the bathroom.
You don't think
you won't be able to go to the bathroom at the stadium
fans would want to gravitate to their mecca?
Michael, it's not a horrible idea.
Come on, wake up, Flip.
Well, you're going to have to call Flip and Jared. What can I say?
I'll call them right now during a break. This is a really good idea. You got a year to work on it, man.
We got a lot of time.
January 30th.
We got 11 months.
It's not a lot of heavy lifting. It's not going to be very
expensive. You think we get a number?
I think we would get a number. Sports fans would watch that. What do sports fans have? There might be a game. But other than that, what do they offer you on all these other shows? They're not.
Schlock.
It's not. There's no sports. But we're going to give you sports.
And we do a couple of Zooms with Yankee players who are sitting around with their families.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Well, Flip can make it happen.
Yeah. Flip is going to tell Garrett Cole, I want you in front of a camera on New Year's Eve.
What do you think Garrett's
Listen,
doing?
I'm not
playing Dungeons.
It's our
Garrett's
first
playing
one.
Dungeons and Dragons. He'll take
What was the thing that he wrote before he was able to get Mike and Chris? Like something was missing. He wrote like initials.
Right.
What was it that Flip wrote on the whole board? Like, we need something. He wrote something specific that you always talk about.
He said he wanted inside the actor studio for sports.
I know, but he put something
I don't
there.
know.
But you always say it, now all of a sudden you can.
I don't remember. I don't know
whatever he said. That missing piece for the network now is not in the afternoon drive. It's on New Year's Eve.
You love it?
What do they got? Nothing. Infomercials.
No, they've got repeats of Center Stage.
But nothing. They're getting zeros.
That's not true.
But it's not, no offense to you, but it's not a destination. Yes, it's not a destination for New Year's. We can make it the New Year's destination for New York sports fans. We could do all different kinds of things for 3 hours, and then the baseball drops at Yankee Stadium.
Are you kidding me?
We'll get people to go to Yankee Stadium. As Peter said, it'll be just as cold as Times Square, but with facilities.
Eating nachos out of a helmet.
Every
chicken
first
fingers.
idea started
Chicken
with
tendies.
like this. And we know we fast forward 20 years from now, and it becomes the thing. And then when Michael passes, it'll still be the Michael K. Like Dick Clark. It'll still be the Michael K. New Year's ball drop, whatever it is.
All right, so
And friends.
it's January 30th, and four of the biggest free agents in baseball are still unsigned. And you know that I have the utmost respect for Scott Boras. He knows what he's doing. But you wonder whether or not he has overplayed his hand here. Because the guys that are remaining that he controls all have warts. They're not perfect players. Blake Snell has 2 Cy Young Awards. Check out what he's done between the 2 Cy Young Awards. Cody Bellinger had a really good year for the Cubs. Check out what he did the previous 2 years after winning the MVP for the Dodgers. Jordan Montgomery has always been a nice starter. He was otherworldly in the postseason last year. I'd say of all of the 4, he probably has the least amount of warts. I don't know if he has any warts, but is he a dominant guy who's going to command top dollar? And then Matt Chapman, who's an outstanding third baseman, had a great April last year, but just didn't do much after that. And if you look at his numbers, he doesn't really do that much offensively anymore. So you could wait and demand whatever you want. The Yankees are the only team, as far as I know, that made an offer for Blake Snell. They are from 6 years. They are from 5 years. No, it was 6 years, $150 million. He wanted 9 years. He countered with 9 years, $270. Listen, Blake Snell's a good pitcher. Not worth 9 years, $30 million a year. The Yankees are out of the Blake Snell business. So that 6 years, $150, which is under $30 million a year, about $28 a year, it's not there anymore. Who's paying it? Who's paying it? Did you overplay your hand? And there's been a report out there, and Don mentioned it yesterday. Yankees might still be in on Bellinger. Well, tell me how. Tell me how they're still in on Bellinger. Once they made the Verdugo trade, how are they in on Bellinger? Their outfield is Aaron Judge in center, Soto's in right, Verdugo is in left, and Trent Grisham is your fourth outfielder. How are they in on Bellinger? Your first baseman is Anthony Rizzo. Why would you be paying $25 to $30 million a year on a guy that has no position? So I'm going to be very intrigued to see how this plays out. Who's giving Blake Snell that money? Who? And it also makes the Yankees getting Marcus Stroman look pretty smart. They grabbed him at $18.5 million for 2 years. That's a bargain. When Blake Snell wants $30 million a year, $270 for 9 years for Blake Snell. Now, there are certain free agents out there that are no-brainers. Garrett Cole's a no-brainer. He checks every box. So when he wanted 9 years and all that money, the Yankees gave it to him. And other teams would have given it to him. That's a no-brainer. But to hold out for that kind of money for Blake Snell, when you look at his years between the Cy Youngs, where's it coming from? Who's giving that kind of money to Bellinger? Don, I want to know where these guys end up, and I hope they all do great. But my goodness, you're putting flawed players out there, and you're charging Tiffany prices.
You just wonder, is that because they're Boris clients? Listen, he's asking for top dollar, but he's not going to be able to get it now because anybody that signs him, it's not going to be out of it might be out of desperation, but it's not going to be for the money that Boris wants. At this point, what is he banking on that these teams are going to be just so panic-stricken?
I think he's banking somebody will get hurt in spring training.
But then if they don't, then what? I mean, we saw the same thing with Conforto, right?
Yep.
And he ended up sitting the entire year,
and got hurt too.
Right, but I'm just saying is that somebody will get hurt. There'll be an opportunity, and what if the opportunity doesn't come? What if nobody gets hurt? Is your client, just to get the top dollar, willing to sit an entire year or months before they get an opportunity to play? I mean, and I don't know whether it's just being anti-Boris, that they want to try to bring his money down, they don't like him, whatever it is. But I would think at the end of the day, you want to try to have the best players on your team. But Scott's so good at what he does, Michael. What's his end game here? I don't see how this is going to work out.
I mean, most of the time, he comes out smelling like roses because I believe for what he does, he's a genius. He must have some idea where they're going to end up. I want to see the team that gives Blake Snell 9 years, $270. I want to see that team. I want to see how long that team is in existence as a viable option. You know, all the free agents lost a big player in the Padres who overpaid to an extent that they almost bankrupt their team. That team doesn't exist anymore. I mean, the perfect fit for Blake Snell or for Jordan Montgomery would be the Orioles. The Orioles need a number 1 starter. Blake Snell fits that.
Well, they're not going to dance for that money.
No. So you're out. If the Yankees aren't in, the Dodgers don't need any more pitching. I mean, the Cubs definitely need Bellinger. They're not biting on the price range.
Well, if I were Blake Snell's camp, wouldn't I try to do what happened with Cora in Minnesota? Sign a 1-year deal. And go fall out, win the Cy Young, and then hope that you'll be able to do it.
I don't think that's the play, though, Don, because he just did that. He just won the Cy Young. He can't be any hotter than he is right now. I think he's over asking. Why not take the 6 years, 150 from the Yankees?
He's over asking because, as you said, he doesn't give you a ton of innings. Now, if he goes out there and does it again, and maybe gives you a few more innings, and then does it at a level where the team's competing for a championship, then maybe he'd have a better chance. He'd make good money this year. So Boris is going to look like a genius if, God forbid, Cole gets hurt and the Yankees get desperate and decide to sign him for this year. But that's no way to do business, hoping somebody gets hurt in spring training. What if nobody gets hurt? Then your hot client coming off a Cy Young award is not going to play?
They always say in any business, hope is a really bad plan.
But he's smarter than that. But I'm just wondering if now teams have either wised up or post-COVID now are being a little bit more fiscally responsible.
Well,
now, the Yankees are one thing with Cole because there's not a lot of teams that could have danced as high as they did, that the Yankees did, because the Yankees were in a situation where they felt that this was an absolute need, and they're a rich franchise. But you saw what happened with San Diego. Now their owner passes away. You saw what happened in Washington, same thing. So some of these teams that were throwing a lot of money around now are paying the piper. So are teams beginning to wise up now? Are there fewer teams that can spend the money than, say, 5 years ago, 3 years ago?
Well, I think it's a bad storm for the free agents. The Dodgers spent their money, obviously, on Glasnow, Yamamoto, and Ohtani. And then they also brought in James Paxton for 11. So you assume they're done. The Mets are kind of in this nebulous state, Don. They don't seem like they want to go for the big fish at this point because they don't think they're going to be a World Series contending team. The Yankees have spent their money. They're over $300 million, so they're not in. So if those 3 teams are out, where are you getting people to bid it up? The Texas Rangers desperately want to sign Jordan Montgomery. They can't because they don't know what their television revenue is going to be because the regional sports network might not even be in existence. So that cost them like $80 million. So who's bidding on the Chicago White Sox are in a total rebuild. They're selling people off, so they're not buying anybody. Where is the big money coming from? Again, I'll always bet on Boris because his track record is pristine. But I can't figure out where the money's coming from. I can't figure it out.
The brilliance of Scott Boras is that he will be able to convince teams the bargain that this player is because of all the hidden analytics. I remember that book. Remember you showed me like the Johnny Damon binder, like all the things that he can do that you don't think about that go beyond the big 3, batting average, home runs, and RBIs. But everybody's onto that now, Michael. They run their teams that way now. So I think they know exactly what they're getting from these free agents. It's just a matter of whether they have the money or not. So I can't believe Scott Boras, as smart as he is, thinks there's money out there that isn't really out there. So is he waiting for somebody to blink? And he could sit there and prove that those franchises have the money, but if they're not willing to spend it, then what good is it the fact that they have it? He can prove that those guys have money in reserve and should use it on his free agent. But if they don't want to, they don't want to. They're not going to be guilted into it, Michael.
Right. The teams with a lot of money are out. They're done. And you had the Yankees right there, 6 years, 150. Would have been a great landing spot for this guy, being the number 2 starter behind Cole and in front of Rodon. I mean, he could have enjoyed life here for 6 years, but you asked for 270 for a guy when he doesn't win the Cy Young. His numbers are somewhat pedestrian, and even when he wins the Cy Young, he gives you 5 1/3 innings each start. And you're asking 270 for 9? Again, Scott's smarter than me. I want to see it work out. I hope I live till opening day this year because I want to see how this plays out. I don't want to pass before it plays out. Is that fair?
Very fair. There should be other reasons for that, but that's a good one.
Of course. I mean, there's so many reasons, but that's just one. I've always said I don't want to pass it away in the middle of a season, of any season. Like the perfect time, I guess, to pass would be like right after the Super Bowl before spring training. But then you pass it away in the middle of a basketball season.
Yeah, but there's a middle of always.
I know. That's why it doesn't pay to die.
Well, nobody wants to. This always crossed my mind, too, as we go into the morbid part of the show.
I love this.
Day or night? I'd rather pass during the day.
Night for me.
Less scary.
Well, I think passing is scary even if it's in the daylight.
No, but I get that, but with the sun out, I don't know. There's a feeling of.
Oh, then you think of Terry Jacks, Seasons in the Sun.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's part of it. The sun is positive. The nighttime, because what if we're going into dark? Then there's no transition.
That's exactly what you're doing, though. So it's kind of apropos.
Oh, really? So you've already, we don't want to give our political leanings, but...
No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying...
you don't believe in God.
I do. That's the way I'm betting. But I'm just saying that when you close your eyes, it goes to dark wherever you end up after that. But it is kind of like fade to black, right? Then hopefully you wake up in a beautiful place.
But
you don't know.
You're going towards the light, they say.
Well...
Yeah, so it's fade to white.
Yeah, but no. When the eyes close, it's dark. And then you'll start to go into the light.
So you're saying fade to black,
then light,
and then we go back up on
right, like you're producing it. Yeah,
you want to cross dissolve, go to black, and then cross dissolve back to white. Here we go. See the light.
Camera 1, swipe. Camera 2. I think we have Isola next. What do you call him, Peter?
Ice Francola.
Ice Francola. Or Frank Isola of the Yes Network. He has his own show in the morning. He's on PTI constantly and Around the Horn. He works more than me now. But he's good.
Very good looking man.
Oh. When I'm getting ready for a game, I have to be prepared. I have my lineup cards.
Hey. Rental? Yep. You? Yeah. Your shoe's untied. Oh. Don't let a boxy suit ruin your night. Read from theblacktux.com.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
You've heard our story, the one about measuring twice, cutting once, and building something you're proud to put your name behind. What are we building? A different kind of workwear, inspired by the values of those who put in the work. Brunt, try us on the job for 30 days risk-free.
At Care.com, you can find all the help you need. You can find babysitters, dog walkers, housekeepers, and senior caregivers, which means you might also find a bit of relief. And the occasional stress-free errand. Maybe even a chance to go and take a bath every once in a while. Just imagine, downtime, clean floors, and, dare we say it, weekends away? Crazy talk, right? Except it's not. Not anymore. Find all the care you need at Care.com.
Switch to Square and take charge of your business and your time. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale, every way you want, and every way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Switch to taking control and taking more free time, whatever that means to you. Make the switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always. So you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
$20. Now that's a big assist. Call 888-348-3003 to find out if you qualify. Maxit Telecom, the official ACP provider of the Brooklyn Nets.
Within 15 seconds of logging onto social media, the algorithm has your daughter in its crosshairs. It sends her a steady flow of images telling her she isn't thin enough, pretty enough. They invade her brain, causing body dysmorphia, anxiety, depression, leading to the worst rates of eating disorders, self-harm, and suicide we have ever known. All while she's sitting right next to you on her phone. Congress knows, but it refuses to act. Don't let her suffer the secret pain alone. Use your voice. Demand a plan. Join us at the Center for Countering Digital Hate, protectingkidsonline.org. Because it's up to you to protect your children from social media nightmares. Join us for her, for your daughter.
If you watch Yes Network on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download the app to stream the Nets and experience the game in a whole new way. With a live stat overlay to track your favorite players. Free-to-play gaming with big cash prizes, and earn and redeem rewards for gift cards and gear. So remember, if you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download now.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I mean, I could safely say, if you've ever met Frank Isola, you'd love him. If you ever watched him on TV, you'll love him. If you ever heard him on a Sirius XM show in the morning with Brian Scalabrine, you love him. Yeah. It's impossible to know him and not like him. He's that sort of guy.
He's wonderful.
He's a delight. And now he's our guest here on the K Show. Hello, Frank.
Was Peter rolling his eyes as you were saying
no.
that? Yes or no?
Matter of fact, you want to hear a dirty little secret? I'm going to lift the curtain. It was Peter's idea to have you on.
That's right. Love the Isola. Love the Isola.
Now, we were all on board with it, but the suggestion came from Peter.
I'm a huge Isola guy.
Somebody had to come up with the idea, and it was him. We all are on board.
Well, you know what? I was rolling my eyes, Frank, because usually when you come on, you've got the video element. Now we just have a little a picture of you.
That's a shame.
Very pedestrian.
What's going on?
Couple of things. Number one, I told your Anthony, not the East Network Anthony, that I was in the car. I'm not home yet to do video. I was at the South Street Seaport taping a little show around the horn, ran a little late. That's why I needed like 15 more minutes, and I could have done it, so I apologize.
No, it's all right. We were talking about the Knicks and the Nets earlier. Is there any way, is there a world in which you could see the Knicks and the Nets would ever make a trade where Bridges goes to the Nets for 4 first-round draft picks?
Yeah, I saw that from Bobby Marks. I mean, I think it would take something like that. Why wouldn't the Brooklyn Nets consider something like that? I think Bridges is good. I don't think he's certainly not a number 1. I don't think he's a number 2. He has to be a number 3 guy. You could see him fitting in with the New York Knicks. But remember, they did make a big trade last year to, trading away Kevin Durant to bring in Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and draft picks. But it would take a lot. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility because I think the 2 teams and 2 organizations are at a different place right now. But let's also look at it this way. How would Joe Tsai feel if the Knicks went on to win a championship and Mikal Bridges is on one of those floats? Maybe that's something the owner wouldn't want. But I'm sure the front office would think, give us all those draft picks. We'll take them.
See, that's the thing that irritates me. Michael and I usually have this conversation about the Mets and Yankees making a trade. Now, it's a little bit different because it's an in-division rival, but Frank, if you want to get up off the mat, you get off the mat. I mean, you can't worry about where the Knicks are. You can't see them anyway at this point from a popularity standpoint. You got to worry about yourself and bettering yourself.
I think that's how Sean Marks looks at it. Sean Marks knows there are things the Nets have to do to improve. And I think if you look at their roster, they have a lot of good players. But, you need stars to win in the league. And this year, Jalen Brunson is going to be an all-star. The Knicks have Julius Randle. And then they have pieces that fit. So I think GMs are always realistic about that stuff. I think they always look at it as what deal can I make that can help us certainly now, but also in the long term. I think Sean Marks is pretty smart. Now, who knows if something like that would come up? It was just a scenario from Bobby Marks. But again, I think it makes sense for the Knicks. I think it makes sense for the Nets. Would the Nets do that? I don't know. Maybe it would be above Sean Marks.
But then let's look at it from the prism of the Knicks, though. They've got that one big move remaining. They've got the salary of Fournier, and they've got all the first-round draft picks. Would you give up 4 or 5? Because, there were reports that the Nets turned down 4 first-round draft picks from Memphis last year for Mikal Bridges, and there wouldn't have been that watching him on a parade. So would the Knicks give up 4 or 5? Is that the move to make to put them over the top?
I think the player that the Knicks feel, and this is just me looking at it and knowing, who's on the roster and the way the head coach thinks, I look at a guy like Karl Anthony Towns because he could spread the floor. He's a terrific three-point shooter. That opens up the lane, for guys like Jalen Brunson, and if they could somehow keep Julius Randle, I don't know how they'd be able to do that. I think they look at him as the guy. That's why, to your point, Michael, maybe the Knicks wait until this offseason. And right now, Minnesota has the best record in the Western Conference. Maybe they hope that Minnesota gets knocked out, and Minnesota saying, you know what, maybe we really need to make a move and just have the whole team centered around Anthony Edwards. So one thing about Mikal Bridges, and Mikal Bridges has been good, but he did have some moments. If you look at the game against Miami, in overtime, the Nets are down 1, and he uses up basically all of the 11 seconds before he shoots. You have to go 2 for 1 there. You have to give yourself a chance to get a rebound if you miss, or if you miss and they grab the rebound, foul. This way you're still somewhat alive. He's made some poor decisions late in games. The other night he missed a big free throw with the game on the line. So he's a good player, and he certainly is a winning player. But for the Brooklyn Nets, they're looking at him to be their first and second best player, and it's not going to get you very far. That's why him on the Knicks makes a lot more sense.
All right, no deal. This is the team moving forward. How far do you think this Knicks team can go?
Oh, I think they can go pretty far because I think Jalen Brunson is really playing at a high level. Health will have a lot to do with it, but you could see the team just in terms of being a tough, physical team. It's the kind of team that Tom Thibodeau likes. It's the kind of team that he knows you could win with in the postseason. So if you look at the East, obviously the Celtics are at a different level, but Kristaps Porzingis gets hurt a lot. Tatum and Brown last year had some bad moments, certainly in the conference finals. Embiid's never been out of the second round. And Milwaukee, which has given the Knicks trouble, they're a terrible defensive team. I know the last night after they won, Doc was saying, we were so good defensively. Well, down the stretch you weren't. Denver was scoring at will when it matters. So I don't, even though I think those teams would go in, certainly Milwaukee and Boston would go in favored against the Knicks, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Jalen Brunson right now is playing as well as any point guard in the league. He's not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but the guy's pretty darn good. And the one thing Jalen Brunson does, he brings an intangible that teams always overlook, and they overlooked it when he went into the draft and was a second-round pick. The guy wins. He wins, and he makes his teammates better. It's still hard to believe that these scouts and these general managers that make the money they make allow someone like that to go to the second round. And then Dallas has him, and he's willing to sign there for $50 million, and Dallas doesn't re-sign the guy, knowing that if they re-signed him, the Knicks would have always traded for him anyway. So what Dallas did, Dallas was smart to draft him. The way they handled his contract extension and then letting him walk as a free agent was absurd.
You know, we said this at the beginning of the show. I want to get your take because you covered the Knicks back then. That I think that Brunson, if he continues on this arc, is a better player for the Knicks than Carmelo Anthony was.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. Carmelo was a brilliant scorer. Now, remember, Carmelo 1 year, I think he finished second in the MVP. So he had a terrific year, but the Knicks also got eliminated that year by Indiana. So I think the Knicks that season, they definitely beat Miami twice. They might have beaten them 3 times. That was the great Miami team with LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. But Jalen Brunson already led them to 1 playoff series victory. So, Carmelo only had 1 during his time with the Knicks. And the Knicks are just, the fit is better. And the Knicks, remember, too, the biggest issue that the Knicks had with Carmelo was Carmelo forcing his way out of Denver and the Knicks being so trigger-happy that they made that move when if they had waited till the offseason, they could have kept a lot of the assets that they had. So the Knicks not only have Jalen Brunson playing at a really good level, but they still have assets. And what's interesting about that, I think Rick Brunson, his dad, I think his first coaching job was sitting behind the bench in Denver with George Karl when Carmelo Anthony was on the team. So there definitely is a connection between, Carmelo Anthony, Rick Brunson, and Jalen Brunson.
And the other thing, too, that I sense more so than back in the day is that it's wide open. I agree the Celtics are on a different level, but they don't feel unbeatable the way the Heat did with LeBron and the Cavaliers did with LeBron or was happening in Golden State. It feels like there's several teams that can win a championship, and if the Knicks continue with the trajectory that they are, why not them?
I think you're right, Don. So if you go back to last year, now, Miami does have experienced players like Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, and there's a certain way that they play, and it works in the playoffs. So Miami last year finished 7th. They lose the first play-in game to Atlanta. They then have to play Chicago there. They are playing in Miami, but they were trailing in the 4th quarter. They were that close to being eliminated. Then they run into Milwaukee to catch a break because Giannis got hurt in Game 1. In fact, I think the 2 games that Giannis played, I think they lost both of those games. So Giannis didn't even win a playoff game last year. Then in the second round, I thought the Knicks were really good. Both teams were dealing with injuries, but, the Knicks were a shot away from sending that to a Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. And then obviously they went up 3-0 on Boston and had the great Game 7 where Boston forced a Game 7, but Miami was just better. And, no one was really thinking of Miami at that time. Boston had the most talent in the league. Milwaukee had the best record, but here comes it's all. You have to get a little lucky. Every year the teams win, you get a little lucky. Toronto got lucky because poor Kevin Durant blew out his Achilles in Game 2. So down the line somewhere you have to get a little lucky. But in terms of being good and being a team that's locked in, the Knicks definitely could be that team. Look at all you have to do, listen to the way the coaches and players talk about Jalen Brunson. I mean, last year after Miami it was funny. Miami beats the Knicks in that series. And Eric Spoelstra was going on and on about Jalen Brunson. And Brian and I were joking on the radio that the Knicks better take out a restraining order against Eric Spoelstra because he's going to be an assistant coach on the national team. And he's going to spend basically half the summer with Jalen Brunson, working and maybe trying to recruit him to Miami one day. Coaches and players know how good Jalen Brunson is. I get it. He's not going to jump over anyone. He's not going to have the spectacular dunk. All he's going to do is win. He won in high school, which, okay, well, what's the big deal? He won in high school. All right, that's fine. He won 2 national championships in college, and he's been winning since he entered the NBA.
Answer me this, and you were around the Knicks for a long time on the newspaper side. Jalen Brunson doesn't get a starting spot because the fans didn't vote for him that much. And the Knicks really didn't put, I'd say, a concerted effort to, promote he and Randall. It's impossible to get them on shows. Leon Rose has never spoken to anybody but Mike Breen. He should be out there receiving his flowers for the job that he's done turning that franchise around. What's their thought process? Well, don't they want to be, celebrated?
It's a great call, and I think, there are some teams that get a little hokey with it, promoting their players. Now, I have a media vote, but usually the media vote doesn't mean anything, and I voted Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton as my starting backcourt, just like I had Anthony Edwards and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the Western Conference. But I think you're 100% right. I think they could do a little bit better job if I were them. And, Jalen, it's different. Jalen is very savvy. He's always going to say the right things. He's very engaging. He has a lot of interest outside of basketball. He should be on your show. He should be on there maybe, once a month or once every 6 weeks. I wish he could come on my show. We've had his mom come on, and now that Rick works for the Knicks, we don't get Rick, but we've had Sandra come on. But Jalen is – I think the Knicks are missing an opportunity from this standpoint. He's such a likable guy. He's playing incredibly well. All he's going to do is represent the organization in an incredible way. He's going to come on your show, and he's going to be entertaining. He's not going to be boring like some big-time NFL quarterbacks who would have a weekly thing, and they'd come on somebody's show and they wouldn't say anything. Now, all of a sudden, they're the funniest guy that you'll ever see out there. Jalen Brunson would be very good, and I think, to your point, Mike, I think it's an opportunity that the Knicks are missing, because I think Jalen Brunson would be 100%.
And also, why is Leon Rose hiding? I mean, the guy's been brilliant what he's done.
I don't get it.
He should be celebrated.
I don't get it. Yep, and I think they should have Tom, do stuff too. Tom would be great with you guys. Tom has an incredible history. I mean, you could ask him, you see any similarities in this team and the 99 team? You see any similarities in this team? And when you were an assistant coach with Boston and you won a championship, Tom had a long history with Kobe Bryant. I mean, the guy's been in basketball his entire life, and he can tell really good stories. I think the organization sometimes is so worried about controlling things that they're hurting some of the players, just in terms of some of the branding that a guy like Jalen Brunson could do for himself, even Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle. I think it's a missed opportunity not having those guys. And Leon should be out there. Like, if the fans want to hear things, I mean, you guys will ask the right questions, and it'll be up to Leon to give the right answer.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I had the privilege of calling a few Knick games this year, and it was really a fun experience, and also revealing, because we would get the walk-offs after they won. And I'm on the radio in New York 3.5 hours a day, every single day on the Michael Kay Show, and I'm literally talking to these guys for the first time. And they're all really cool guys. I mean, DiVincenzo's a great story and a good guy. And Josh Hart. These are just a few of the guys that I'm literally talking to for the first time, and they're engaging and they're fun to talk to, and they've got great stories. And I'm like, why is this the only opportunity we have to hear them?
And then, Don, what happens, too, I think there was that long stretch there where the Knicks were really bad. And I think this is the problem. They're really bad, so the coverage reflects that. The fans' attitude toward the team reflects that. So I think sometimes over Madison Square Garden, they look at it, see, this is a media-driven thing. They're so negative towards us. When it's really the results always dictate the coverage. And that one year that Carmelo had, the year that the Knicks went to the playoffs, they beat Boston in the first round. They won those games that they had against Miami in the regular season. The coverage reflected that team. In fact, J.R. Smith that year was the sixth man of the year. So I think sometimes there's still a little bitterness there toward the media, but I just think it's wasted energy. Because it's obviously a likable team. Clearly the fans have fallen in love with the team, and it never has to be about the great superstar player. It's about winning, and that's what the team is doing right now. Ultimately, that's all the fans care about, is putting a winning product on the court that resonates with fans. Clearly that's happening with the Knicks, so why not have the players out there? Put them out in front. Give them a chance to talk about it.
Frank Isola, the Yes Network Nets analyst, has his own radio show with Brian Scalabrine in the morning on basketball on Sirius XM, Around the Horn, PTI, the whole deal. Before I let you go, it's been a point of contention where the player doesn't want it. I think they'll do it. Will the Nets give Kevin Durant some kind of video?
Oh, I think he's going to get one. I think, it's funny. I was talking to Richard Jefferson about it last night. He said the players really don't care about something like that. So I really do think it's more of a fan and a media-driven thing. Kevin Durant did pick the Nets. And believe it or not, they did have an amicable breakup. Both sides, kind of agreed, and it wasn't a nasty divorce. Now, Kyrie next week when he comes in with Dallas, that could be a whole nother story. But again, I said it, if you go back to a couple of years ago, the Nets were the best team. And I talked about being lucky. They got unlucky. James Harden got hurt. Kyrie Irving got hurt. The Nets that year, their first 7 playoff games were against Boston and Milwaukee, the eventual champs, and they were 6-1 at that time. And then it all started falling apart. So Kevin Durant does a lot when I don't even know he engages in something like that. I'm sure the Nets will do something small for him. It'll be kind of interesting. I actually think the biggest story is next week when Kyrie Irving comes in with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Kyrie's been out. He's hurt. He's missed a ton of games. But
should he be available for that one?
Tuesday. I hope he is. You never know. Will Joel Embiid be available?
Now, are you expecting?
I know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. No, you go. Would you be expecting full-blown boos every time Kyrie catches the ball?
I think from some people. I think, the one thing about Kyrie, he is a great player when he wants to play. Look what he did with the Knicks against the Knicks a few weeks
crushes
back,
the
Knicks. He was really, really good. Exactly. He gets up to play. So I think there are a lot of fans that just admire him from a basketball standpoint. They don't look at a lot of the other nonsense where he's missing games and he's away from the team. I think that frustrates a lot of people. So I think it'll be
Frank, this will be filed under You Can't Make It Up. Ian Begley reporting Ben Simmons probable for tomorrow against Phoenix due to a knee contusion. You can't make it up.
What'd I say yesterday?
Well, and I said that last night. Everyone's getting all excited about him coming back. And he played really well. And the way he plays makes the Nets better. He grabs rebounds. He pushes it. He's a terrific passer, great rebounder. He can defend. But my thing is, it's never about one game. It's they need to see him out there tomorrow night against Kevin Durant. He needs to be defending Kevin Durant for the 18 minutes that he's out there. That's the big thing. I mean, the guy had missed 38 straight games. He never plays. So I'm always asked about him, and I think, I mean, he's never going to be a guy that's going to knock down three-point shots. When he plays, he's good. He never plays. It's the same thing when Kyrie was here. Kyrie's a great player. He never plays. If you don't play, what are we supposed to say about the guy?
Good stuff, Frank, as always. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys, take care.
All right, that's Frank Isola. You can see him on the Nets pre- and post-game coverage on Yes, listen on the radio, and see him on ESPN as well. We'll come back with your phone calls right here on Yes and 98.7 ESPN.
Hey. Rental? Yep. You? Yeah. Your shoe's untied. Oh. Don't let a boxy suit ruin your night. Read from theblackducks.com.
Get tools that bring every angle of your beauty business together. Clients can book online 24/7 for multiple services and multiple staff, so scheduling is simple. And with client notes and stored payments, you can offer seamless checkouts, so clients keep coming back. Run your beauty business with tools that bring everything together. Get started at square.com today.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
My favorite babysitter is Annalisa. She's pretty good. She's like my grandma. She says, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" She plays with me. She helps you feel better. Bugs and insects are healthy for you. Amelia took us to the beach. She teaches me some gymnastics. We color. We draw flowers, and then we go skateboarding.
From babysitters to nannies to daycare centers, find all the care you need at care.com.
Guys with bad genes, are they worth it?
Genes go with everything.
They go with nothing. Dudes, get the new Only Pant by Fabletics.
Awesome.
Want one pair of pants that does everything like magic? Breathable cooling tech. Always stretch. Secure phone pocket.
Bro, I'm in an Only Pant ad.
Water repellent. Work, golf, date night, hiking, biking. It's so everything.
See this stretch?
You forget about the deal you're getting.
It's our biggest sale of the year. Get the Only Pant for $19 at Fabletics.com.
Season anytime. See game speed pitches from more than 600 pitchers. Get ready for game time with game simulations. Face your friends in live competitions. And train like the pros with expert drills and metrics to track your progress. So when your moment comes, you'll be ready. Win reality. Baseball uncaged.
Yo, you think Dallas's Power Forward gonna drop 30 tomorrow?
His mom made a post about going to the game.
What?
He's been averaging like 34 points a game when she's there.
Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Cash in on your sports fandom with Prize Picks.
Only 1 in 5 people with disabilities, including those with autism, are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work. Why? Outdated stigmas and beliefs. So let us make it easy. This is a job for someone with autism. This is a job for someone with autism. So is this. That job? Also perfect. Businesses value diversity, but sometimes overlook the unique strengths and abilities of the autism community. Introducing WIN, the Workplace Inclusion Now program by Autism Speaks. We bridge the gap and help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring. Yes, these are all jobs for someone with autism. To learn more and lead the way in inclusive hiring, go to autismspeaks.org/win. Yep, that job too.
Some of us that his dad kept the gun in his closet and always talked about
If you watch Yes Network on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download the app to stream the Nets and experience the game in a whole new way with live stats, pick and play, and Yes rewards. So remember, if you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download now.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. Just 2 players are averaging 34 points per game or more in the NBA. The reigning MVP, Joel Embiid, and Luka Doncic. And what a 5-game span it has been for the Maverick star. This includes his 73-point effort on the anniversary of Kobe Bryant's passing. He's averaging a triple-double, but not just any kind of triple-double. A 42-point average triple-double over his last handful of games. 11 rebounds and over 12 assists to go with that 42-point average. He also had 15 assists last night, which led the association. Meanwhile, the Kings won their 4th straight game. It wasn't pretty, but you don't get style points and wins. He's not your Vitas. He's not my Vitas. He's not even our Vitas. No, it's Domantas Sabonis, who is leading the way and cleaning the glass this season. Last night, he ripped down a career-high 26. He has double-digit rebounding games in 27 of his last 28 games and is averaging nearly 14 rebounds per game. He helped Sacramento win the points in the paint battle last night by nearly 20 points. Sabonis finished with 20 points and 26 boards to go along with 5 assists.
Yes. So what's the argument? I never said relations with your coworker, did I?
No, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, and then Don said he would destroy Peter.
Yeah. What was that coworker?
I thought it was.
Yeah, I think it was Peter to save
right.
your wife. Yeah.
It might not have been a significant. It might not have been like in the Woodja game. It was later on.
All right, so why is it causing problems?
Because all the guys are saying no, and the wives are losing their mind.
So the wives would want the guys to have relations with a coworker to save them?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was with a male coworker, Michael. You're leaving that part out. Now,
Yeah.
Remember, it was with Don and I, that was what it was.
Yeah, it was just with each other. I didn't say male or female, but just with each other. You guys happen to be
in
males.
this case, it happened to be myself and Don.
I was keeping it clean for Mushnick.
Oh yeah, thanks. That'll work.
Yeah. I'm sure you appreciate it.
And that'll work. Well, I'm sorry it's causing such distress, but you know what, Anthony? We thank you for the call. That is the purpose of the Woodja game. It makes you think. Makes you think. It makes you come up with hard answers.
Deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts like Jack Handy. Mark in Charlotte. Marky.
What's up, fellas? How we
Good.
doing?
How are you?
Good. So I've been in Charlotte a few years now, but something I miss about living in the Northeast is going to MSG. But I was at the Knicks Hornets game last night, and boy, did it feel like I was in the Garden last night.
You know, Mark, I watched on TV. Was it as loud as it sounded on TV? I mean, they cheering when they introduced Thibodeau, and then they cheered throughout the game. MVP. Was it that loud in the arena?
Yeah, it really was. And fans in Charlotte across all sports are pretty depressed, I would say, with their current situation. But Knicks fans came out. It was really loud. I got to sit pretty close. And the Knicks faithful were loud and proud.
I got to ask you this, Mark. I got to ask you this. So you sat close. How much?
Yeah.
Well, I actually, I was raised right. My father taught me well. I bought the cheapest seat in the arena and managed to get down to like the 10th row.
You know, your dad did raise you well. Yep.
But I think I looked pregame. I think courtside seats, maybe not courtside, but lower level, 10 rows up, was around $500.
Oh, you know what? That's a decent amount. I'm glad you had.
It's not nothing.
Yeah,
it's not nothing.
I'm glad you had a good time. It's not $2,000, but it's $500's a lot. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, I thought it would be a lot less.
That's a lot.
Let's go to Carl in Queens.
I'm on the Michael K. Show again.
Oh, yes, you are.
There you go.
I'm joining, boys. You guys make my mind wander with all these great points and all the callers and stuff. But the one I wanted to bring up, did Frank Isola, Mike, say that Jalen Brunson is better than Carmelo Anthony? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Guys, that's crazy. There's no way. Jalen Brunson is better than Carmelo Anthony? Guys,
let's phrase it this way, Carl. See if you agree. Is he better for the Knicks than Carmelo Anthony was?
Yeah, if you phrase it that way, yes, definitely. But he's not a better player than Carmelo. And I remember, because that's when I really started to listen to you guys the first time. And I remember those times when people would poop on Carmelo all the time. He's a great player. And people forget that team, the 54-win team, if Omari quite literally didn't break his back, we probably maybe would have beaten the Heat in the best of 7. And I don't even remember who was in the West.
Well, who was that year? Who was in the West that year?
I don't remember because I don't think it matters.
You know what, Carl, I will tell you one thing. Carmelo is obviously one of the great scorers in NBA history. He wasn't an overall great player. He didn't make those around him better. Jalen Brunson makes everybody around him better.
See, now, if you're going to list the greatest players in NBA history, Carmelo would probably be higher. He's a better scorer. He was dynamic in that fashion. But he's a point guard. He makes players around him better. There's a toughness. The thing with Carmelo, could he work with other guys? It just seems like you plug anybody in with Brunson. Where Carmelo, remember the whole Jeremy Lin, well, once Carmelo comes back, they won't be able to work together and all that. He's so much a better player for this team. And we got to stop with that. Well, if this guy didn't get hurt, nobody was going to beat the Heat and LeBron James. And I think it was the Spurs that the Heat ended up beating in the final that year based on what they did against them in the regular season. Michael, we lived through that. I don't think that team was winning a championship, and they couldn't even get past the Pacers, so they didn't even get a chance to play the Heat in the postseason.
Yeah, we never really saw what was planned out. Amari didn't stay healthy, and we never saw what was planned out with Ewing. Bernard King didn't stay healthy. So this is one of the times where it's all lining up for the Knicks, where it's working out. Just the way it was planned, the way Leon Rose and his group planned it. So, yeah, Carmelo is I mean, he's already been named one of the top 75 players in NBA history. We know that. Great scorer, but not a great all-around player. He just wasn't.
And also, this role that Jalen Brunson is playing on this team, I believe, will have more positive impact than the role that Carmelo is able to play for the Knicks.
We'll talk more about this when we get back right here on Yes and 98.7 ESPN.
We just signed the lease on our third shop. I guess we're a chain now, right? We've worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to customink.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our custom ink orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at customink.com.
Can a handyman fix my leaky faucet?
How much does it cost to have my HVAC checked?
How do I know I have mold?
What do water pipes break?
Home questions don't have to keep you up at night. Get peace of mind with Thumbtack. We'll connect you with local pros for any home project, from a small fix to a big remodel. See transparent prices, read verified reviews, and book with just a tap. Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
Beautiful ladies, loving it. Beautiful family, jealous. Bride is the best day of your life. There's that smile. That's a keeper. Let's get the lucky men in here, huh? Oh. All right, we got it. Groom's bed. Okay.
Some days are just too important for a trashy suit. Rent from theblacktux.com.
Switch to Square and take charge of your business and your time. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale, every way you want, and every way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Switch to taking control and taking more free time, whatever that means to you. Make the switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
The most important tool on any job site in America is the one you wear on your feet for 40 hours a week.
Wait, what?
My name is Eric Gerard. I started Brunt Workwear in my garage for my buddies in the trades.
The modern construction worker has different needs than they did 100 years ago. That's why at Brunt, our gear is designed by workers for workers with premium technologies like triple layer comfort, slip and oil resistant soles, and a triple layer waterproofing system. Go online for free shipping and try any of our gear on the job for 30 days, risk-free.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
100 years, the ACLU has fought for everyone to have a voice and equal justice. And we will never stop. Because we, the people, means all of us. To learn more about defending our democracy, go to myaclu.org today.
Well, we've certainly looked like we knocked around a hornet's nest. And it's funny because Don and I did this show during the Carmelo years.
Yeah.
And all we did was defend the guy. And all the Knicks fans did was hate the guy. Hate the guy. Hate him. Call after call after call after call. That's all we did.
It was ridiculous.
It became so tiresome. The guy is one of the great scorers in NBA history. But now when you say that Brunson is a better Knick than Carmelo was, now people, all of a sudden, they rise up and they go, what are you, crazy? No, we're not crazy. Does Brunson make the team better? Absolutely. Carmelo made the team better with his scoring. He did not make those around him better. He didn't play nice with Jeremy Lin. He just didn't. So how is this an arguable point? Nobody's saying that Brunson is the scorer that that Carmelo was, but Carmelo was not the overall player that Brunson is. And he didn't mean as much to the Knicks as Brunson. Brunson has changed the way the Knicks are looked at. Carmelo didn't. He didn't. I'm sorry. I love the guy as a player. He just didn't. This is the best free agent signing the Knicks have ever had. And I know Carmelo wasn't a free agent. They traded for him. But essentially, he might have come there as a free agent at the end of the year if they didn't make the trade with Denver. How could you argue this point? I don't get it, people.
Well, it's also making no sense because think about what we're going through here. We went through years of defending Carmelo Anthony to a fan base that, for whatever reason, just didn't like Carmelo because he wasn't LeBron James, and we defended him. But at the same time, those Knicks fans believed that they were still going to win a championship and that they were going to beat the Heat, make a run. We just got a call saying, "Oh, if the Stoudemire didn't get hurt, they would have beaten the Heat and they would have won a championship." Now we fast forward to today, where I think the team is clearly better, and they're now defending Carmelo Anthony, but we can't get anybody to call and believe that this Knicks team can win. I can't believe the juxtaposition. Why aren't you as on board with this Knicks team as you were 10 years ago? When I don't think they had any kind of shot. You weren't going to beat LeBron James in a big spot. You just weren't. And nobody would be mad at you if you didn't. It was LeBron James. But now you don't have to go through a LeBron James. Yes, very good teams that are better than you. But, Michael, I think they've got a better shot now. And Knicks fans should be rising up and agreeing with us instead of going all of a sudden back 10 years and defending Carmelo Anthony when they didn't defend him 10 years ago.
I think people just like a fight. And it's hard to argue because Carmelo is an extraordinary scorer, and by no means is this denigrating Carmelo, but the proof is in the pudding. They're 13-2 this month. He's going to be an all-star. Should have been the starter if the Knicks fans had turned out more for him. It's just a strange dichotomy because this Knicks team, as far as I know, maybe Peter and Don could correct, they seem to be very likable. Who on the team is unlikable?
Michael, I'm telling you, I got, obviously, because of the situation I was in calling those games, I got to know these players and like see it firsthand. It's a fun team. It's a likable team. They work hard. It's perfect for New York. Like, Brunson's the perfect New York player. He's a lunch pail guy. For all the things that Randall goes through, he plays every single day. You know what he's capable of doing. You've got a coach that's easy to root for, that kind of just seems like cut from the old New York cloth, right?
I hear we have a big Sleepy Tom Bobo.
Oh, no.
Yeah, big one. Last night, while people were watching it, they said they fell asleep.
But it really, just to play Freud, it just feels like it's so real that if the Knicks fans admit that, then they allow themselves to possibly be hurt come June. Because maybe they won't win.
But it's so weird, as Peter brought up earlier, that they were so quick to get orgasmic over what the Knicks did against the Hawks, but they're not like with this team.
Because it wasn't real, Michael. Like, they weren't going to allow themselves to get hurt because it was easy to talk. But they knew deep down the team wasn't going to make a run. Maybe they would have beaten the Hawks, which they eventually didn't do. But they weren't winning a championship. They weren't ready to win a championship. But now it's real, Michael. Now the investment is real. Where losing in the first round, losing in the second round is really going to sting, because I think this team is building itself up to where you could really expect it to be a disappointing season if they don't at least get to the conference final. And that's tough to realize, because it's still maybe tough to do that, Michael. But losing in the second round, you can't pat yourself on the back if you're a Knicks fan. You can't go, what a great season. We won a round.
Because that's what you did last year.
You did that last year. And if you remember last year, it looked like a fait accompli. They were going to beat the Heat because they looked like a team that wasn't good enough to make the playoffs, and were going on a fugazi run that ended up taking them all the way to the NBA Finals. But now it's real. And sometimes it's difficult to get behind a team that's expected to do things. And if they don't, that means you're going to have to take the punch. And maybe they're just not willing to take the punch. But I'm telling you, if you really want to experience the ride, then you've got to be emotionally invested. That's the best time. Yeah, you might get hurt at the end of the day, but at least be excited for the first time in 25 years that you've got a team that might be able to be in contention for at least a Final Four and maybe more. You should be embracing that. It's been so long. You realize that, Michael? If you've got what's our average caller? 30?
Hopefully.
35? Then that means you were 5 or 10 the last time the Knicks were this good. And you're going to sit there and poo-poo and fantasize about a 54-win team and how that team should have won? Instead of enjoying the team here? Defending Carmelo Anthony at the expense of Jalen Brunson, who's here and winning games for you and is going to be here for the foreseeable future, and is probably the best player that they've had since Ewing, and maybe has a chance to do something Ewing didn't do, and that's bring a title here? Come on, people.
Listen, I understand people. I understand the hesitation to not want to believe he could be that good. But at the same time, with all the great scoring Melo did, it's not like they reached some height that makes you think they won't be able to do that with this group already.
I agree.
Was it? They didn't get deeper in the second round, right?
Last year?
No, the Melo team.
No,
they lost to the Pacers in the second round.
Lost.
You don't think this team can get past that?
And that's the thing, Peter.
The conference finals are definitely in play.
Because you're not taking to the streets if you win a playoff game anymore, right? You're not going to go crazy if you win a round. Now it means winning 2 rounds. I'm sorry, if you go out in the second round, okay, nice season, nothing to celebrate. You did that last year.
They won't be complaining to fire anyone, but you're right, they won't be celebrating.
But you'll be disappointed, and I don't know if this fan base wants to be disappointed. So if you don't believe, and if it doesn't work out, hey, you didn't get emotionally invested. But you're also robbing yourself of what could be a really fun ride.
Let's go to Dave in Greenwich. Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, how you doing, Michael?
Good.
Peter, guys. Love the conversation here. I'm a little bit older than you guys. I'm 73.
Okay.
From Greenwich. Michael, love having you in town.
I like to pass through.
Former basketball guy.
Okay.
Coached my whole life for a while. I agree with you. I think Brunson's a better player. And the reason why I think that is, from my background in basketball, is Brunson, he makes the team work. Carmelo was single. Brunson makes the team work. And I was a big Knicks fan from day one. I'm a Bill Bradley's my basketball eye. I watched every game. I didn't miss one. What was that team described as by me in one word? Team. T-E-A-M. That's how they played. This team is approaching that. However, I'm a little concerned that we may make the bar a little too high. You know, I don't know about conference finals, but we should reach for that. I agree with Don. I love Don's passion. I'm Italian like you, Don. I love it. But
I'll tell you what, Dave.
Totally
it's not just the three of us.
Unbelievable.
It's not just the 3 of us, Dave. I mean, Kendrick Perkins came on just before this run and said, and we thank you for the phone call, this team's going to the conference finals. He said the only team that he thinks that they wouldn't be able to beat, but they would take to 7 games is the Celtics. This is a former NBA champion.
Right.
It's not three of us jabronis. I mean, it's him. So a guy who's really, studies the game, he loves this Knicks team. He loves Brunson. And I'm not going off of what he said. I just feel that way. I'm not saying that they're going to the NBA Finals, but I'm not going to say it's a virtual impossibility. You don't know what's going to happen. You heard what Isola said. Porzingis gets hurt a lot.
Yeah, he does.
You never know what about injuries. Hey, and the Nets might have won a championship if they didn't have all those injuries that year. The lane opens up with things that you don't foresee. And the Knicks are good enough, I think, to take advantage of it. Let's bring in the doc. Richard in Manhattan.
Oh, hey. Big Rich, Big Dick.
Hey, fellas, question. Patrick Mahomes or Derek Jeter?
For what?
Who is better? Who's greater? Whose legacy is greater?
Well, it depends on where you are. I mean, in New York, they're going to say Derek Jeter, but history, it's tough, man. It's really difficult right, Michael? When you were talking about a shortstop in baseball gets 4 at bats, can only catch what's hit to him, and a quarterback of a team that is basically the heart and soul of a franchise. It's apples and oranges. It really is. Now,
fellas, yesterday I agree with you guys 1,000% what you said about Campbell. They went for the knockout, even though they were ahead on 11 rounds in the 12th round. He did not have to go for that. What he did was try to shove it in San Francisco's face. You don't do that. You let a sleeping giant quiet. You just get the points that you can accumulate. And you got to realize it's like going chasing 2 points in the third quarter. You don't do it because the negative effect, if you don't get it, is so great. Now, he could have missed the field goal. They could have botched the snap. Anything could have happened. But that's on your account. You're not doing anything to embarrass the other team. He was trying to not only be aggressive, which I don't like that term. That's not being aggressive. That's trying to show up the other team like, we're going to score on you guys and we're going to really rub it into you. His whole way of thinking is wrong. Obviously, the guy doesn't think right when he didn't go for the field goal when they were driving and save all that time. You still need 2 scores. A thinking man knows this, and he calls a timeout. He is not a thinker. So to say somebody is aggressive means that he's thinking. He's a nice guy and all, but he is not using his brain. Fellas, I want to close on one thing.
Okay.
I have to share something Warner Wolf told me 20 years ago.
Wow,
fellas.
big Warner Wolf
It
drop.
was the greatest line I've ever heard on sports.
Let's go to the videotape.
The greatest line. Here it is. I called up Warner. He loved me. And afterwards, I went into my whole monologue and all. And Warner says to me, Richard, next time you call, don't give me your laundry list. Bring me your aim material. I've never heard a better line than that. Always a pleasure.
You know what? It's funny, though. He spit in the face of Warner because he doesn't follow that.
That's a great point by Michael. You heard what he said.
Right.
And yet you call the show and you do a laundry list every
You know what's amazing to me about him?
time.
Let's see if you agree, Peter. We could be doing the show.
You talking about Big Dick?
Richard in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And
that's what I mean.
We have the breaking news sounder, and we say that Peter, in his home laboratory, has discovered the cure for cancer.
Big day. It was a big day. Bear bumped his head, and we invented the flux.
Right. You invented the ability to cure cancer, this scourge that rips through the country.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard would call up right after we announced it and go, who do you guys think is better, Pee Wee Reese or Phil Rizzuto? I mean, it's like nothing that we discussed ever took place.
Nothing matters.
We don't matter. Once he hears Richard in Manhattan, he's a go.
I would love, we should get a really famed psychologist on the show sometime who sits there and breaks down what disorders our callers have, one by one. You hear hear them talk for a few minutes. They all
got something.
Right. Paranoid schizophrenia, classic narcissist, whatever it is. That would be, because I don't know what Richard's thing is. He's obviously a great guy and a fantastic dentist. Enough that Warner Wolf took his phone calls. But he just, what is it? It's almost childlike to not, it's like Donnie in The Big Lebowski. He just wanders into the conversation and does whatever he wants.
And the funny part is he tells you what Warner Wolf said, and he doesn't follow Warner's sage advice.
One of the best things he ever told me was, don't give me the laundry list, bring your A material. But every call
is a laundry list.
Is a 1, 2, 3, and usually one will be good.
One man's laundry list is another man's A material.
I guess you're right.
But it's not his.
No, not to us.
Just pick the best. All he's got to do is pick the best.
Well, think about this. Maybe Warner was onto something. Maybe we are getting his A material. Imagine if we were getting his laundry.
It was like 45 minutes. You think Warner Wolf was entertaining Richard for 45 minutes?
Yeah, Warner. Did Warner have a radio show at some point? I guess he did,
sure, right here on, it was probably 1050 at the time.
What if
my brother produced it for a while?
Really?
Hey, Don.
What if Anthony were to ask Richard, what's your full? Do you ever ask him for the full list?
I don't even pick him up.
What do you just?
I put him on hold. I put Richard Manhattan, and I put whatever I'd like to put in the slug that day.
Funny things that he puts
Right now, what if though we have Anthony go, hey Richard, what are your top 3 today?
And then if you don't like the top 3, you go, I'm sorry, Richard, you can't get on.
Or he lists them for us. He writes 1, Dodgers, 1938. 2, Joe Montana, 3 Warner Wolf.
And by the way, when he picks up, he says Richard from Manhattan every time.
That's all he says?
He says Richard from Manhattan, and then word for word what he says to you, he'll say to me. So I like hearing it once. But I will give the little 1, 2, 3. I think that's fun.
We'll give it a shot. Wow. See how it goes.
Will in Cortland. Hello, Will.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Great. How about you?
First time, long time. I'm good, man. Chilling out, man. I just want to let you know I agree with Michael K. There was one year that we went in the beginning of the season, and we went, like, I think it was 15, 16 games. I don't remember losing streak. And he was nowhere to be seen. No one knew where he was at.
You're talking about Melo. Yeah, well, listen.
Even Clyde Frazier said that if that was to happen, he even said that if Clyde Frazier said if that was to happen during that time when they were playing, Willis Reed would be knocking heads.
Well, Carmelo was a guy. I can't say he was a compiler because I think he was an extraordinary scorer. He could get a shot. He had a beautiful shot. Great offensive player. He wasn't making everybody around him better. He just wasn't.
No.
That wasn't the player he was, and that was their problem. They didn't have that player, that facilitator. Just get the ball to Carmelo, and he's going to shoot.
Right.
He's kind of what Julius Randle was before Randle got Brunson. You know the second best free agent signing the Knicks have? Julius Randle. The top 2 free agent signings in their history are on the team right now. Hey, when we come back, we're going to hear from Tom Brady. Yeah, Anthony did his work.
Tom's on.
We're going to hear from Tom Brady.
Wow,
yeah.
Big get.
It is a huge get. Huge get. Listeners, it's Michael K. When it comes.
You done yet? It's 2 a.m. Why are you still scrolling through videos? You're not paying me overtime here. If you really want to see something new, why not change those shades that have been broken for the past 2 years? Let's tap the Thumbtack app, and in a matter of seconds, we'll find a pro to install new shades.
Okay.
With Thumbtack, you can easily find top-rated professionals for every home project.
Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
At Care.com, you can find all the help you need. You can find babysitters, dog walkers, housekeepers, and senior caregivers, which means you might also find a bit of relief. And the occasional stress-free errand. Maybe even a chance to go and take a bath every once in a while. Just imagine, downtime, clean floors, and, dare we say it, weekends away? Crazy talk, right? Except it's not. Not anymore. Find all the care you need at Care.com.
See everything your store can do with tools from Square. Your inventory automatically restocks, so you never run low. Your online store stays open 24/7, so you're always ready to sell. Your payments are processed in seconds, so customers can breeze through checkout. And with one account to manage it all, you've got more time for taking time out. Get your all-in-one retail system by signing up at square.com today.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
Listen, we get that ordering a suit online can seem a little risky. That's why we have a home try-on program. Go to theblacktux.com/try. With so many good options, it might be hard to choose. We'll ship your selection to you to try out for 48 hours on us. When it arrives, put it on and make sure every detail's perfect. Once your 2 days are up, pack it back in the box, attach the free shipping label, and send it back to us. And when you're ready to rent for real, just head back to the Black Tux and make your order official.
ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
World, expertly discovering solutions, inspiring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready?
New Yorkers are tough and work hard. Respect to those working or retired from hard jobs, living on a fixed income. Because making ends meet can be hard, but paying your energy bill shouldn't be. New York State and New York State Utilities have partnered to build New York Energy Advisor, a one-stop site to find programs and resources that lower your energy costs. It's quick, it's easy.
And then it's done.
Go to energyadvisor.ny.gov today.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael Kay Show. After missing 38 straight games, Ben Simmons made his return to the Nets last night against the Jazz, checking in for Spencer Dinwiddie with over 6.5 minutes left in the first, and then Simmons went right to work. Over the last half of the first quarter, he didn't score, but his 6 assists led to 15 of the Nets' 43 first-quarter points. He set up Lonnie Walker from 3. Walker said afterwards Simmons' ability to pass elevates the team, and Cam Thomas was the beneficiary there. In the fourth, the Nets also put up another 43 spot. This time, Simmons did contribute in the point department, getting the tip in on the alley-oop from Bridges, and a nice backdoor cut here from Bridges. And Cam Johnson with the find. Bridges sends it in with the left, and the Nets cruise to a 147-114 win over Utah, their first back-to-back victory since late December. Here's a look at Simmons' night graphically. He was just 2 rebounds shy of a triple-double. He was one of 8 Nets in double figures. He said afterwards, "It's always a fast break when I have the ball." The Nets outscored the Jazz 28-16 in fast break points. The Nets had 16 offensive rebounds, leading to 27 second chance points. Simmons had 5 of those O boards, and he was a plus 27 in his first game back. The Nets get back to work tomorrow night when they welcome in Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns to Brooklyn. The Nets are looking to sweep the season series from Phoenix after beating them on their first West Coast trip of the season in December. The pregame show starts at 8 o'clock, followed by opening tip a little after 8:30. It's the Nets and the Suns tomorrow night. Coverage starting at 8 right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
Is Nickinator, and I sent out a video, and I couldn't agree with him more. He said, "You guys are arguing the wrong point about Carmelo better than Brunson." He said, "It's the front offices. The front office, when Carmelo there, never put players around him that really were able to highlight what Carmelo did." This front office, which I've been lauding for a while now, they're picking the right players that fit. They were throwing stuff up at like hot. If you go in the bathroom and take toilet paper and wet it, throw it up against the wall, that's what they were doing then. They didn't bring in guys that fit with Melo. I still believe, Nick and Nader, that all things being equal, they are what they are. Brunson has been better for the Knicks than Carmelo was. But you're right, Carmelo didn't have a great front office providing him with those players.
But the other issue that fans would counter with is that it was hard to find players that could play with Carmelo. When when the Linsanity stuff was happening, Carmelo was hurt. And then I remember, is this going to work once Melo comes back? Like there was the notion that he would not bring the best out of Linsanity. Linsanity would end once Carmelo came back, and I guess essentially that's what ended up happening. Could you find a player that could play with Melo?
Well, you know what the Nuggets did? They went to the Western Conference Finals one year, so that team was a good enough team. There are a lot of players like Carmelo. You got to find the right mix. They didn't. I think those players exist. They didn't.
Now, but also in defense of Carmelo, of course a point guard in Brunson is going to make players around him better. That's his job. Carmelo's job was to score. And he felt like their best chance to score was him taking a shot. So we can look at it and say, well, he couldn't play with anybody, but his job was to get the ball and to score. Brunson's job is to get everybody else to try to score, and then he could score as well. Two different types of players. It's like in hockey where, Ovechkin is not as good as Crosby because he doesn't have as many points. Well, yeah, because one's a center and one's a winger. One's job is to score. The other one is to try to make the players around him better. It's a similar situation. He's a point guard. He needs to make players better. So, and listen, I don't think the front office with the Knicks was any good at the time, but it was. You had Donnie Walsh was there. He was a great executive. So was he just dropping the ball, or was he couldn't find anybody that fit with Carmelo?
Well, you know, the Knicks kind of made their own bed, and I agreed with them at the time, and I still do, because I think that if he'd become a free agent, he would have gone to Brooklyn because they could have paid more money, and if the Knicks didn't make the deal, Brooklyn would have made the deal. So my point is this: they gave up so much to get Carmelo that they emptied the cupboard. They couldn't get that much better. No matter who the executive was, Dolan swooped in and took over the negotiations and gave up the house. And I thought that was the thing to do at the time. I still think it was the thing to do, but they didn't pivot enough to make it right. Let's go to Estuardo in New Jersey. Estuardo.
Hey, man, nice to hear from you guys. You know, this Nick talk is cool, but I really want to talk about this Ben Simmons flirting with triple-double in under 20 minutes.
You know, he's out tonight, right?
And just
he's out tonight. He's out. He's got a knee contusion. He's out for the.
They play tomorrow.
Yeah, he's out. He's probably out for tomorrow's game. He's probable.
All right. Well, I mean, that's the only criticism I can accept, is that his health is the biggest criticism, but his impact to the game is important.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And
But Estuardo, that's kind of like saying, other than that, is Lincoln Howell's to play. I mean, he can't stay on the court.
Well, Michael, we do have to remember it's probable at this point. So all that means is that he was dinged. Now, it's not what you want. You ought to see nothing on the report after he came back.
Nobody's saying he's not playing. He's left knee contusion, probable. But it's not ideal that he finally plays a great game, almost has a triple-double, and he's immediately on the injury.
First game since November 6th, and boom, he's hurt already. He just can't stay healthy.
So he'll probably play against Phoenix, but now how long will he play? Will this knee affect him? Is he going to be out again? That nobody's questioning how good a player he is when he's on the court, but is he ever going to be on the court?
I'll tell you one thing. If I were the Nets, if he gets healthy and goes off on a run, trade him. You're just waiting for another injury. So. He's got another year of big money. Trade him. You're not going to re-sign him. That deal was horrendous. You traded away a great player in James Harden to get this guy. Can't stay healthy. And he's not a great scorer anyway. He's more of a facilitator. He's got great defensive skills. I get all of that. And you can see how much better the Nets engine runs with him at the wheel. He can't be at the wheel, though. He just can't. So get him healthy, get him on a run, get him out. Fool somebody else.
But if you knew that he was going to be healthy all year, with them sitting at 10, you would like their chances of making.
Well, he's not going to be healthy enough to be traded before the trade deadline this year. I'm saying if you could get him, I think they're going to make the playoffs. They'll be one of the 10 teams.
Right, but I'm just saying that the net fan that just called wanted to talk up Simmons. If he's healthy and he plays the rest of the season, I think the Nets are making the playoffs. But the question is, will he?
Let's go to Mike in New Jersey. Mike.
Michael, Don, Peter, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of you guys, but you guys, I've really been annoyed when you guys have talked about the Knicks the past couple of days. For example, Don keeps saying fans, they're scared to believe, they're scared to get hurt. I'm a diehard Knicks fan, okay, and I love Melo, by the way, but Brunson fits this team better. I don't sense that Knicks fans aren't loving this team, love Brunson, love Randall, and are really passionate and loving what I'm seeing. I watch the Knicks every night. I get upset when they lose because I expect them to win every night.
Right.
And there's a big buzz around them on Twitter. Every time one of the big media guys say something bad about the Knicks Twitter jumps them, they jump Candace Parker. I don't sense when you guys say Knicks fans aren't passionate, aren't feeling it right now. I don't get it.
Mike, here's our only gauge. See if you follow me. When Knicks fan, I mean, in the past, right? We could talk about the Knicks for 4 hours. When our show was 4 hours a day, the phone lines would be jammed. It's not the case now. We talk about the Knicks. I mean, maybe they don't want to talk about good things. Maybe they only want to call when it's negative. But it's not the same sort of intensity that we had in the past. That's the only gauge that we have, bud.
That's all we go, man. And listen, I get Mike. I get caught up in it too. You can't go by your own Twitter because your Twitter is going to be gauged to the things you're interested in and what you tweet about. We have an open line. I'm very open with my social media. And when we went through it 10 years ago, when the Knicks won 54 games, or even a few years ago when they went to the first round and they won that first game against Atlanta, inundated with calls. You bring up the Knicks. We joke about it. All we have to say is
Knicks.
And the phone lines lit up and they went crazy. We're just not sensing that. We're not saying that it's not going to turn at some point. But we don't have a local football team involved, all right? We're still a ways away from baseball. It's not like the hockey teams are tearing it up. So it's really open for we to be inundated by a lot of positivity. We're not feeling it. That fan's feeling it, and he got through. But, Michael, we go through it. I understand it might be a small percentage, but we can only go by the people that tweet us, the people that call us, and we're not sensing it the way that we should.
So, mention that we're going to talk to Tom Brady, and we are not going to talk to him. We'll hear from him, I think is what I said, because I don't lie.
No, you never will. You never mislead.
But Tom Brady was on with McAfee today. I think that if Pat, right, asked to get Joe Biden on there, he'd go on. He'd go on. If he asked Donald Trump, he'd go. It's amazing the level of guests that he gets.
It feels that way.
He can get anybody he wants. God bless him. I'm glad he's on our team.
You want to impress me? Get Leon Rosa.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. I bet you he could.
Well, I bet you as well.
All right, so Brady was on McAfee and talked about something that's being questioned now because over the last couple of years it hasn't been that great. He talked about the Patriot way. Here's Tom.
I've never used that term in my entire life. I think when people say it, I'm always like, what's the Patriot way? It sounds like the title of a book. I think what we tried to do was we tried to do things the right way. I think we tried to practice the right way and prepare the right way. What happened on game day was ultimately a reflection of what we practiced. And I thought we had great leadership from our coaches, and it filtered down to the guys who really drove the culture. We had so many guys that I played with over the course of a lot of years that, really understood that, okay, I'm going to care about my teammates and I'm going to care about helping the team win. And whatever personal agenda you had, individual success and individual awards, I don't want to make those insignificant, but they weren't as significant as what we were trying to accomplish as a team. And I think being a real selfless player and understanding that if the ball didn't come your way as a receiver and it went somewhere else, that was a great thing for the team, as opposed to a lot of times, if it doesn't go to you or if you don't make the tackle, you get frustrated that you don't feel like you're a part of it.
Well, that's the Patriot way then. He might not want to put a title on it, but
I love
everybody
it.
bought in.
I love it, though, but I hear what he's saying. I always hate that. The Jet way, the Giant way, the Yankee way, the Patriot way. Well, what does that mean? There's a right way and there's a wrong way. You can put your name on it if you want, but that's kind of self-serving because what happened to the Patriot way? Bill Belichick was still there when they won 4 games. Did the Patriot way gone, or you're just not winning? So when they do that, like Rex would always be like, oh, it's the Jet way. What's the Jet way? There's the right way and the wrong way. We do it the right way here. Or we do it the wrong way here. Let's change it. But you put your name on it. It is kind of foolhardy to me. So I'm glad he called it out.
Now,
I don't know if they referred to it that way or whether other people did. But I always hate when teams name their way.
Well, you're not going to. Andy Martino has a new book coming out, which I'm halfway through. You're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. Don. The title of the book is The Yankee Way.
Well, what is the Yankee way?
The whole book explains it.
Okay.
It's a pretty fascinating book so far.
So was it...
well, there actually was I found out in this book, there was a 500 to 600 page binder that detailed what type of players at each position the Yankees preferred. The skill set that was their way. That's how they put together a manual about how to do it. How to do cutoff throws, how to to take the ball over what shoulder, who should get the throw, who should get all that, the Yankee ways.
All right, well, that might be a literal kind of definition that they kind of have their way of doing things. But, hey, sometimes it's a 100-win team. Sometimes it's like it was last year, an 82-win team.
Well,
so
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
there's a lot of conjecture that Brady's not going to end up in the Fox booth, despite the fact he signed a 10-year, $375 million contract. Well, McAfee asked him about that. Here's what Tom said.
I've been I've been out to Fox Studios a few times and done some really dry runs with Kevin, who's tremendous at what he does. I'm super excited to join an amazing team, Rich Russo and Richie Zions. We've talked a lot about football. We talked a lot about how I see the game. And I think Greg's done an incredible job. I have so much respect for him, how he approaches his job. He's super prepared in what he does. I think he does an incredible job every time he's on. I love listening to him. And I'm just going to go in there and do the best I can do with my own perspective. And I certainly have had a unique vision and perspective of the game of 23 years. And hopefully I just can provide some insight. You know, I've been a part of a lot of Super Bowls, championship games. I've had some seasons that didn't go the way we wanted. I have some injuries. I was undrafted rookie. I've seen guys come in with great expectations and not meet it. I've seen underdogs like Julian Edelman come along and make it. So I've had 23 years of just observing, and I get to go on now and speak to a wider audience. And I used to probably use my body and my brain out there, and people would see me kind of lead the team down the field. And now I get to do that in a different way using my voice.
I think he's going to be phenomenal. And I laugh at the people because I think Greg Olson's good. But, I mean, is he great? Is he, like, transcendent? I'm not hearing that yet. I think he's very, very good. But would I, if I'm Fox, would I hesitate to take Greg Olson out of the booth and put Tom Brady in there? No, I wouldn't. I think Tom Brady's going to be unbelievable.
But is he going to be worth how much?
But that's their, that's their problem.
I'm sure it's great, but, you know, how many people watch the...
yeah, but he's going to mean something when, you know, they go on golf tournaments with sponsors. I mean...
yeah, well, that's the hidden stuff, but I'm just saying that I feel the money that you're throwing away, just to make it make sense.
All right, so is Greg Olson worth $10 million a year? Is Tony Romo worth $18 million?
No, but I'm just saying is that you had 53 million people watch the Lions and 49ers on Sunday. All right.
And I think 55 watched the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Right. And now am I going to pay $25 million more a year and have it not move the ratings needle? Now, like you said, okay, maybe you'll get a few more sponsors because they'd rather golf with Tom Brady, but is it worth $25 million more?
Well, the people that crunch the numbers think so, but forget about the number, though. It's like when a team goes out and gets a free agent, spends all that money. They gave him that money. Doesn't mean that he has to perform up to that money. Do you, in your mind, who watches games all the time, you too, Peter, do you think he's going to be good on the air? I think he's going to be great.
I can't speak with the same conviction as you.
Michael's always spoken with that conviction. I don't know. I didn't love what we just played. I didn't find him like riveting in that conversation.
But he's experienced everything on a football field, and he's the greatest to ever do it in terms of winning. Right, I think he's going to bring that to the party. And he's a maniacal preparer.
Yeah, but does he have the talent to do it? I mean, it's not about effort. He's gonna make the effort, right? He's gonna do the work. It's not about the resume as far as what he's done on the field. He's done everything. He's accomplished everything. But will it translate into being a good announcer? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see, right? I mean, you look at some of the announcers that have been out there, Michael, that have the resume. I mean, Lawrence Taylor was the greatest defender that ever lived. He was awful on television.
Well, he was so awful. But he was so good when he called you.
But his resume on the field, I mean, he had a big personality. Everybody loved him. Former Giant. He was terrible on television. Emmitt Smith was terrible on television.
Joe Montana was. If Pat Riley wasn't good.
Drew Brees was not very good on television. They pulled him after the first year. And these are guys that had all the credentials, but do they have the talent to articulate everything in that moment and be entertaining? I'll probably, if I had to guess, I would say he'll be good. But I don't know. He won't even know. These are not people that audition. They just throw them in there and see if they can do it.
All right, when we come back, we'll give away another Super Box for Super Box Bonanza. We'll find out who the point guard is, all of that. But first, Peter has some things to tell you.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
For far too long, millions of Americans have been strapping on uncomfortable work boots pushed by out-of-touch corporate types.
Hey!
To To design boots and apparel that hardworking men and women actually want, you have to get on the job site and listen.
And that's why Brunt names gear after guys like us.
Apart from making our boots and apparel innovative, reliable, and insanely comfortable, we back all of our gear with a 30-day on-the-job risk-free trial. You deserve better. You deserve Brunt.
Try any of Brunt's gear on the job for 30 days risk-free.
You done yet? It's 2 a.m. Why are you still scrolling through videos? You're not paying me overtime here. If you really want to see something new, why not change those shades that have been broken for the past 2 years? Let's tap the Thumbtack app, and in a matter of seconds, we'll find a pro to install new shades.
Okay.
With Thumbtack, you can easily find top-rated professionals for every home project.
Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
To find a babysitter.
I have a lot of questions.
When can they start?
Today? Now? Tomorrow? How about Saturday and Sunday?
I need any kind of day.
My wife and I haven't been out in a year.
We need a date night. No offense. Help!
Can I check reviews?
Are they background checked?
Do I have to go pick them up?
Can they handle all this?
From babysitters to nannies to daycare centers, find all the care you need at care.com.
Up your fan engagement with Yes Rewards on the Yes app. Watch live games and earn points. Play the hottest games and score more. Earn status, then redeem your points to win prizes. Yes Rewards on the Yes app.
Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
Pan pizza is Domino's best kept secret. It's handmade with fresh, never frozen dough, has 2 layers of cheese, toppings to the edge, and a crust that's golden and crispy. Well, consider the secret out. Order your favorite pan pizza or try it today for the first time at Domino's.
Teachers are skilled leaders, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world, expertly discovering solutions. Inspiring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready?
Children are the greatest joy and our best hope for a better future. Friends, they are the future. But did you know that millions of kids right here in our own backyard are facing hunger every day? Without healthy food, it's harder to grow, to thrive, to feel their best.
The impact when children don't have enough to eat is tremendous because when you're hungry and your basic needs aren't being met, you cannot learn.
Every child deserves to be fed. This is a problem we know how to solve. Food is not just food. It's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Breakfast in the classroom contributes to kids being more focused, which leads to higher grades, and simply just their well-being.
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Show me what you're cooking. Oh, let me see the moves. You got the whole world looking like this kind of magic taking hold of you. See the kind of magic taking hold of you.
Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download now.
Wounded Warrior Project has been with me every step of my journey.
Aaron, how you doing, bud?
With experiences that help me realize that I'm not alone.
And specialized programs that give me the tools to train my body and mind.
Now, it's possible for me to get back out there.
To get out of my comfort zone and try new things.
To build and be part of a community that supports other warriors.
It's possible to get the help I need for me and my family.
I got my confidence back. I'm setting goals and I'm achieving them.
It's possible to feel understood, whether it's day one or 20 years down the road, they've got your back.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, Wounded Warrior Project is adapting to meet them.
Because when we pull together,
it's possible to go further than you ever imagined.
Spring training is just 16 days away. That's a little over 2 weeks until Yankees pitchers and catchers report to Tampa. And tonight on Yes, immediately following the Michael Kay Show, you'll get a brand new edition of Yankees Hot Stove for all the latest news and notes from Yankees Universe. That's tonight, 6:30, a brand new episode of Yankees Hot Stove right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
Good week for Don. He's got the first two point guards right there.
Couldn't have done it without you guys, though.
Oh, that's true. But, I mean, you are the guy that gets the trophy.
I'm proud. But I like to share the wealth, man. It can't do
You're
it
like Brunson. I'm more like Mello.
That is true.
I don't know who Peter's like.
Chris Childs?
Hartenstein?
He's kind of tall. I'm closer to height with Chris Child.
It's the final week, Peter, of Superbox Bonanza 5.
Sure,
yeah, each qualifier is going to take home a $25 Fanatics gift card and have a chance at one of 10 Superbox prizes. Be caller number, what was Matsui's number? 55 right now at 888-987-ESPN to select a box for the big game with a chance to win $500 in the first and third quarters, $1,000 at halftime, and a final score payout of $2,000. All brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey and the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey and Security Dodge. Come get some. A friend of mine used to take part in a box, super box, and ended up winning like $52,000.
Wow,
that's a lot of money.
So funny. I guess I shouldn't say it.
Say it.
Say it. What are you afraid?
What's going to happen?
I think the whole, I don't mean the radio station, I mean the overall concept. The box gambling to me is like so dumb.
Yeah, but it is fun.
I don't care. Is it?
It's fun. It gives you another thing to root for in the game. You don't just root for a score, you root for a specific number. I think that adds another level of intrigue.
Right. I guess it could add an element if you don't care about the game otherwise.
And because there's a first and third quarter halftime, like the guy who won that, I think it was $1,000 you paid per box. It's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
But, you know, he got back $52,000. I think that was the winning.
But the killer is when you get one of the, I know things are different because of the 2-point conversion, but when you get that, 5-9, and you're like, that's not going to happen.
But then Dan Campbell coaches, and anything could happen.
Well, true, but still. So there's certain numbers. Like last year, I did one, and it's like I forget my numbers. I forget my numbers, but there's like no chance it's going to happen. And so it's not now. It's not fun. I just set fire to the money. Like I said, if you get 5-9, what are your shot?
Why are you even here?
Yeah, it could, but that's probably not anything you're getting. That maybe you get that as a final score, but you're not going to get that any other time usually.
Well, final score is a big money.
I know, but you can kind of see that it's not going to play itself out. Like you need a 7-3, you need a 1 and a 0. That's what you need.
Well, you don't always get what you want. Let's go to Mark in Dix Hills. Marky?
Fellas, what's up? What's up?
How you doing?
Peter, I never agree with you, Peter, but I got to agree with you 100% with Tom Brady being an announcer. That little clip, Peter, you couldn't be more correct. He has no cadence. He has no direct, no voice control like Mike and you guys have. How the hell are they giving him $350 million? Tony Romo, they gave him crazy kind of money. You know, it's just, fellas, I'm telling you, I'm sick with the money. Look at Hatton. I don't know if you know, Hatton jumped to the LIV. He got $63 million. You know, Hatton hasn't won anything in golf ever. They gave him $63 million. Fellas, why can't we get on this train? Let someone throw some money at us. It's getting ridiculous. And you know what?
It is crazy.
I'm telling you, this guy is not going to do well. Brady is a milquetoast kind of announcer to me. They're just wasting their money. It's just because he's Brady. And thanks. God bless you.
Thanks
you just answered it. He's Tom Brady. He did say something wrong in that clip, though. I wonder if you guys picked up. I mean, factually wrong. He said he was an undrafted rookie. No, you were drafted.
Oh.
You just drafted low in the 6th round, but you were drafted. You were 199th pick.
That's right.
So unless he's trying to rewrite history.
Maybe.
But
I was undrafted rookie. I've seen.
And also, his voice isn't terrible. And it's going to be up to Kevin to bring it out of him.
Well, you're just going to have to find something. All the great announcers, color commentators. You know, who was John Madden before?
Who was Troy
John
Aikman?
Madden,
Troy Aikman, I think, is the best now.
Listen, they were Super Bowl champions. They accomplished a lot on the field. I get it, but that they were able to carve out their niche. Now, I don't think Aikman has a shtick at all.
No, none.
He's just very, very good at what he does. But, you know, Madden had a shtick. He was very emotional. He'll find his groove. I have no issue with hiring him. It's just that I don't know if you have to spend that much money. It's not my money. But what that money does is that he'll be held to, I think, a higher scrutiny. And is that going to be good for Fox?
Speaking of sports media, did you see the big news today?
Hold on, sports media.
I know what it is. I just don't want to play his reindeer game. It's nice news, good for him. Big would not be the way I would say.
Big sports media news. I didn't say big world news.
No, but even go ahead.
I will be the honest.
I want Peter
Andrew Marchand leaving the New York Post to take a similar position with the Athletic. And his stuff will appear in the Times because the Times owns the Athletic.
It has zero impact on my life, but it's an upgrade for him.
No, good for him.
I think.
You think he got Rossini money? That would be big.
Well, I don't know.
Rossini, well, we don't know what it is, but it's been announced by Peter King that Rossini is now the highest paid writer in the history of the Times.
What?
Excuse me? Baking powder?
She's the highest paid person ever in the Times.
In the history?
I believe so, yeah.
The New York Times?
If I'm off, she's the highest paid person ever in the history of sports in the Times, but I think it's the Times.
Not the Athletic?
Well, the Athletic is owned by the Times. So obviously she's the highest paid in the Athletic.
There has to be... I love Diana. I consider her a friend of Jay's. There has to be some sort of caveat if she is the highest paid ever employee of the New York Times.
I believe so.
I don't know what to
Good
say.
for her.
Oh, you know what? There it is. Don found it. That is the right thing to say.
Good for her.
Good for her.
Right. I don't know if we need to analyze that any further.
Yeah, I mean, I've...
Well, you sound like the guy that did the last call. You just want them to throw money at you, right, Peter?
Well, not at all. I have no interest in... I'm not a writer.
No, I mean, you want like WWE and ESPN and Hot 97. You want them to throw that case at you.
No, not at all. I didn't even remotely think about me. All I thought was the New York Times, I know this could offend some people, is often regarded as the most prestigious newspaper in the history of our nation. I love Diana. But
it's the paper of record.
So I just was a little surprised. I mean, I guess, though, numbers always go up over time with inflation, so... that makes sense, but...
So she's making more than Maureen Dowd and Frank Bruni and all the big-time columnists.
And yeah.
Good for her. She deserves it. She's great. Hey, this year, I don't know if you know this, Peter, it's time to finally lose that weight.
There's an easier way.
From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
See everything your store can do with tools from Square. Your inventory automatically restocks, so you never run low. Your online store stays open 24/7, so you're always ready to sell. Your payments are processed in seconds, so customers can breeze through checkout. And with one account to manage it all, you've got more time for taking time out. Get your all-in-one retail system by signing up at square.com today.
My favorite babysitter is Annalisa. She's pretty good. She's like my grandma. She says, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" She plays with me. She helps you feel better. Bugs and insects are healthy for you. Amelia took us to the beach. She teaches me some gymnastics. We like color. We draw flowers, and then we go skateboarding.
From babysitters to nannies to daycare centers, find all the care you need at care.com.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
Guys, let's be honest. Buying pants sucks. It should not be this difficult. I'm looking for that one pair of pants that does everything. These just came in. They're the only pant from Fabletics Men. 4-way stretch, done. All-way stretch, you're going to feel the difference. The best thing about the only pant, honestly, everything. You almost forget about the deal that you're getting. Same premium quality as Lululemon, but at a third of the price.
Hey, does this suit look okay to you?
Yeah.
It doesn't look too...
Baggy? No. It's not baggy. Let's just perfect. You look great. Right, Glenn?
It's good.
Suits that actually fit for you and your crew. Rent from thebblacktux.com.
What you doing?
I'm locking in my prize picks. It's the best way to win big on fantasy sports.
Yeah, like what? I got you. Oh, a black genie.
You pick 6 right. You win 25 extra cash. Prize Picks is matching your first deposit up to $100.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
New Yorkers are tough and work hard. Respect to those working or retired from hard jobs, living on a fixed income. Because making ends meet can be hard, but paying your energy bill shouldn't be. New York State and New York State Utilities have partnered to build New York Energy Advisor, a one-stop site to find programs and resources that lower your energy costs. It's quick, it's easy.
And then it's done.
Go to energyadvisor.ny.gov today.
Hey everyone. Welcome to EN.
What happened?
Ray Row.
TV.
It's brought to you by Security Dodge. Go see Michelle Scalesian.
Come get some.
Yeah.
Let me say good evening to Michael.
Chopped.
To Don.
Chopped.
To myself.
Absolutely. You guys have a great afternoon. Keep doing what you do.
I will, Troy.
That's not Troy,
Joe.
it's Joe.
Exactly, that's what I meant.
By the way, Peter, before you go on, I looked up the story by Peter King about Diana, and this is the quote. She is one of the highest paid writers in the history of the august New York Times Company. One of the.
Okay. I mean, that's good for her. I mean, it's different. You put me in a horrible situation. I sound like a bad guy and a hater because I love Diana's work. The truth is, I've never read Diana. I've always watched Diana, right? So I don't even think of her as a writer first. I think of her as a reporter on television first. And then the New York Times is this newspaper with this illustrious history. So to randomly hear it was sort of like...
It took you by surprise. That's all. Don't worry about it.
No, it sounded like hate, though, and it's not. I was just like, wow, really?
Well, I'm a big Rossini fan. Obviously, you're not.
See, and that's what you want.
Why he just painstakingly explained to you the awkwardness.
Yeah, and I certainly know Diana in real life more than Michael, which makes him a worse guy. It makes me even worse.
It makes you worse. Yeah, not me.
Right, but it's your doing. It's you intentionally doing
I'm
that.
a delight.
You knew I'd be surprised. You knew it. There's a reason you said it, because it's a.
All I said was, I wonder if Marchand got Rossini type money. That's all I said.
But then I didn't know it. No, that's not all you said.
And then I said Rossini was one of the. I said it because he was the highest paid writer in the history of the Times, but it's one of.
Well, I would like to say right now that if they gave. If Andrew Marchand is the highest paid writer at The Athletic, the next step we'll hear is that they're going under. That's what I'd like to say.
Well, all I know is if you got Diana's number, I would reach out to her and explain it to her, because when she reads it this weekend, it may not come off as well for you.
And it was Peter who said it. Peter Elliott Rosenberg.
Who said what?
But this is.
Well, I don't want to misquote it that I said something.
But yeah, but this one you do should take blame.
I take no blame.
Classic K. Classic K. Leading his charge the way that he does.
And then plays the innocent.
This is something you do. You know what? I think Phil made a salient point now that I think about it.
I hear you.
Maybe it's best if we all just relax, turn down the lights, turn on some music,
please no.
And hear from Sleepy Tom Bobo on the Knicks fans traveling as well as they do.
That's great. Not only do we have the good fortune of our arena and our fans at home, which I think, are the best. There's nothing like it. But every city you go to, there's always a huge fan base, and you feel it. And I think it brings energy to us. So certainly appreciate it.
That wasn't too bad.
Wait, Tom. What about playing without so many of your key players?
You're not replacing those guys individually, so you have to count on your defense and your rebounding, and then creating advantages for each other. And I thought we got great games out of we got the usual from Jalen, but I thought Josh was terrific and Dante was fantastic. I thought Precious, first time playing at the power forward, Jericho gave us really good minutes as well. Deuce's defense was big too, but the third quarter, I don't know, it was 44 or something, 24 I think, but that gave us a cushion there.
I really think you should consider, Peter, when you and Natalie have a child, Precious could be the name.
Really?
Precious Rosenberg.
I don't know if I like it.
Really? How about God's Gift?
God's Gift I'd consider.
For yourself.
God's Gift Rosenberg? Don did!
God Sham God.
God Sham God. What a name, what a player.
Did he ever make it to the NBA?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure he did.
Georgetown, right?
No.
Providence, I believe. Providence?
I believe so.
Is that right, Michael?
I obviously don't remember. I just remember the name.
Let's see if... God. You know what? Sham God. I know what I'm doing. They don't give these jobs to chimps.
So was it Providence? Yeah.
It was Providence. Don't ever question me. He was a friar.
Well, listen, I wasn't off. I was in the Big East, at the time Big East.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who knows? I don't even. Is Providence even still a real school?
Here's a big story for Peter.
Oh, is it as big as the Marchand?
No.
Let me guess. Bob Raceman had a soup for lunch.
No, this is from John Orand, who's now with Puck News. John Angelos agrees to sell the Orioles to 2 private equity billionaires.
Wow. Well, that's
all
good
your
news.
teams are going by the wayside. New owners.
There you go.
That's great. Everyone's wanted Angelos out too, especially after last year. He didn't.
See, that would concern me if I was the American League East, because they got great young players that are going to be there for a long time. But the only hope the other teams have is that they're going to price themselves out of Baltimore. You bring in 2 equity guys with billions of dollars, they'll be able to sign all those players.
Yeah.
Are the Penguins for sale, Peter?
Maybe I'll buy. Let's hear from Tibbs real quick on what's going on with Anunoby.
He warmed up and, just didn't feel comfortable, so we'll see where he is tomorrow.
Something that he's had managing, or?
Yeah, he's had it before, but it was one of those things that flared up. Can't play. Next guy, get in there, get it done.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Who owns the Penguins, Michael, besides the minority owner?
The Fenway Group.
The Fenway Group, so.
And a lot of Bill Simmons came out today, and it was a great analogy. He said, you ever return a rental car and you have to return it with the gas full? And you go get the cheapest gas at the cheapest gas station you could get? He said that's exactly what John Henry's doing with the Red Sox. You know he's going to sell them.
Filling them up with garbage is what you're saying.
Well, that's what he said, not me. I don't want Yankee Boy quoted for that.
Knicks, by the way, favored by 3.5 tonight. They will be without OG.
Doesn't that number seem a little low?
Very low.
I mean, they just got blown out by Brooklyn.
They're both playing
back-to-backs.
God, do you realize that's the most points the Nets have ever scored in a regular in regulation ever?
Last night, really?
147 last night, yeah.
127?
147.
Wow.
That's what they get, right? It was, yeah. I think they've scored more in overtime.
Who was it? Was it Don or Peter that predicted that a guy was going to get 100 or a team's going to get 200?
I said both. Somebody's going to get 100.
You know what? I'm starting to lean a little bit more toward you.
And I believe that we will see. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be in regulation. There'll be a game in which a team scores 200.
And, I mean, they're not even trying. And, Luka scored 71.
Well, I was going to say, it's no offense, Michael. The take now does not seem crazy. It's getting pretty close. I mean, every week there's someone close to 70 points. Here's you mentioned the Nets. Here's Jacques Vaughn on the impact of Ben Simmons.
Other people played so well tonight because of the impact of Ben Simmons. It's that simple. The looks that we got tonight, the amount of threes that we got tonight, the fast break points that we got tonight, the uncontested looks that we got tonight, the pace that we play with. This is a team that's been rolling. Utah's been rolling 120 points in the last 11 games. And so we did it on both ends of the floor. And Ben deserves an extreme amount of credit of the way he played tonight.
I'll tell you what, Peter, he's the anti-Sleepy Tom.
I was going to say the second his voice kicks in. Listen to this.
Other people played so well tonight because of the impact of Ben Simmons.
Crisp.
You need like a Slayer song behind him.
I wonder if Yes will sign him if in fact Don's prediction comes true.
No, yeah, the Yankees might.
To be in the booth?
You know what
He's got to shave that beard though.
Anthony,
don't know that.
Anthony in my ear said, "Vivacious Jacques Vaughn," making a Trump joke. I think it wouldn't be that. It'd be jovial Jacques. He's so jovial, so upbeat. I love that, Jacques Vaughn.
Vivacious doesn't even work. What is he doing?
Why doesn't it? Well,
there's no alliteration. What does it mean?
Well, it's
bombastic Ben.
Bombastic Ben. I don't know if I'd go that far.
Jovial Jock.
That's what I just said.
Juventus Jock.
Juventus Jock.
What, the soccer team?
You know what you could do? You could go French. You go, Je m'appelle Jacques. That's what we call him. When he says his name, it's Je m'appelle.
Oh, maybe he meant Vivacious Vaughn. That was the alliteration.
Oh, Vivacious Vaughn. Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
I'm sorry, Anthony.
Yeah, you take it back.
I take it back.
Ben.
You take back what you said about Diana then.
I didn't say. You got to stop. You really got to stop. What I said was congratulations. No, I don't feel bad saying I was surprised to learn that you may have been the highest paid New York Times employee of all time. I mean, keep in mind, I wouldn't even remembered earlier today that the New York Times owns The Athletic. So it's a confusing subject for me. Here's Ben Simmons. How are you able to look so comfortable so quick, Big Ben?
I just know the game. I think just let the game come to me. I try not to force it too much. Just read it. I think a lot of things for me, I let things develop, throughout the course of the game. And one thing I learned is just patience. Things develop, over time when you bring the ball down and you can see everything. And I think I just read the game a certain way.
Ben, always running here and there.
Braggadocious Ben. He's not very modest, is he? He knows he's good when he wants to play, but he's always injured. Broken Ben, that's what we call him. Always hurt. He's so broken, so physically broken down Ben Simmons.
It's terrible.
On the team chemistry, Ben.
This is probably one of the best teams in terms of just friendships I've been a part of. You know, everyone gets along. We don't have any egos or anything like that on the team. And guys want to win and compete. So for me to be able to be in an environment like this is amazing. You know, I get to come to work with, you know, a bunch of friends that, you know, want to get better and compete. So I'm happy.
Beneficent Ben.
Beneficent? Benevolent Ben.
Benevolent Ben.
Benevolent Ben.
Gentle Ben.
Ben.
You're always running here and
The
there.
two of us can no more.
Was that? Listen, it was a movie, but it's almost like Michael. Let's see how good you are. See if you could sing a song about a rat.
And he made it work.
Made it work.
And by the way, he reportedly, I think there was some basis on that in his real life. Him like befriending, like being a little kid and befriending an animal. Speaking of Michael, Michael
Right.
K.
Yes.
strongly.
Somebody else just got a raise. Michael's trying to get in.
No, Michael texted me, encouraging me to watch this movie that I was very excited to watch, but I didn't expect to get such an early review from Michael K.
Netflix, it debuted last night, Don. You would love it.
Opening night.
Opening night. And, you know, Jody was going upstairs to go to bed, and she saw what I was watching, and she plopped herself down, couldn't pull herself away. Hour and 40 minutes, the making of We Are the World. Don is phenomenal.
Yeah,
oh, my God, how good it is.
So it's funny. This is actually weird. I watched the Michael Jackson Thriller doc that's on one of them. It's not great. I mentioned it. It's good. It's not great. But when they get to the We Are the World portion of the doc and they start showing the behind the scenes, I was riveted. And I was like, oh, my God, I want to see more of just this. Then I was thumbing through the New Yorker the other day, and there was a review of it. And I was like, oh, my gosh, a full doc about the making of We Are the World?
I will give you one little clue, Peter. One person does not look very good because of this doc. And that is the purple one.
Oh,
Prince.
He didn't play well, huh?
No, I don't want to ruin it for you, but he comes out looking bad.
How's Quincy look?
Unbelievable. Great. Really great.
Bruce?
Who? Bruce looks so sweet and accommodating. I mean,
did they ever touch on the part that's been viral many times on the internet when they're all singing and Huey Lewis and Cyndi Lauper try to hit their notes and Michael looks like he's going to puke?
Well, I mean, they did.
They
They had a whole part on Huey Lewis and Cindy.
Well, and
no, they didn't show that Michael was about the puke, but they have a whole big thing on Bob Dylan, which makes the whole documentary.
Did they mention, like, did they anything about, like, Huey and Cindy struggling at all, or no?
Huey struggled because his solo was the last thing that they did, so he was there from 11:30 at night until 7 in the morning, and he said, I didn't know if I could, because I think Cindy followed him, but he followed somebody that had a really strong voice, and he didn't know if he could reach it.
Yeah, when you hear it isolated, you're like, wow, Huey's not. And then you remember, he's not that kind of singer.
Right, exactly.
Right? That's not the kind of singer.
But his part of the song was really powerful, and so was Bruce's.
It's an important part.
Now, if you were to do it today, who you asking back?
Bruce again.
You probably get asked Dylan back.
I don't know if he'd come back if you watch this.
Right. Maybe. All right. Well, that I can't answer. I haven't seen it yet.
Conspicuously
Bono.
absent, I guess you'd ask Bon Jovi.
Bono.
No, this was all Americans because the Live Aid was Europeans.
Oh, that's right. I'm mixing them up. Yeah. Okay. So was the Stevie Wonder?
Yes.
Yes.
You know what was in that one too? Dan Aykroyd.
He's in We Are the World.
Yeah. You know who stormed out of We Are the World? Waylon Jennings. He was there like 3 hours, and then like Stevie Wonder said he wanted to do a line in Swahili, and Waylon Jennings goes, "I'm out." They walked out.
100%.
He was never on the. He was never on the record.
Now you're going to laugh at
That's
this,
a
but I
bad
enjoyed
choice.
it. Around that same time, they had a metal one, hearing aid.
They did?
I'm not joking. It was good.
Wow.
We're Stars was the name of the song. It had Ronnie James Dio, Rob Halford. It was cool.
Oh, well, I'm going to watch this tonight.
Yeah, tell me what you think. See if I oversold, which I have a tendency to do.
I'm doubling down now. Like 10:30 is almost my bedtime now. I'm going to try to make it work.
You're going to love it. You'll thank me.
We just binged Frasier, the reboot. Loved it.
It's just the wet line isolated there. We
I
just
loved
binged
it.
Frasier.
I thought it was
Is this
good.
it?
was really
I mean, could there be another season, or does this Frasier die at the end?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. No, he doesn't die at the end. They could totally have another season. So we need something. We finished Shrinking, finished Frasier. So, no, because I think Nancy would be interested in this, too.
Guys, Ben Johnson is going to stay with the Lions.
Why not?
The Olympic runner?
Yeah.
No. He's the offensive coordinator. He's the offensive coordinator for the Lions. He was, people thought, would end up in Washington. Apparently not. Decided he wants to stay. I'm trying to come up with the right adjective to give him a nickname because I'm not very pleased with him. He obviously changed his mind. He's...
I'm not helping you.
I don't know. It's just...
Bending Ben. No, he's not bodacious. He's...
Jocular Johnson.
No, you can't go to the last name. It just doesn't work. If you guys find one, let me know.
Benedict Ben.
Oh, there we got it. Benedict Ben. He's such a traitor. We thought we could count on him, but he's a traitor. That Benedict Ben. Thank you. See, wow,
that was great,
Michael. You should be jealous.
I am.
That's Don really.
I am really jealous.
Bad news, guys. This is unfortunate. Doc Rivers lost his first game as head coach of the Milwaukee. Speaking of Benedict, devilish Doc, not to be trusted. 113-107. Jokic with the 14th triple-double of this season, 25, 16, and 12. Rivers said, quote, "It's going to take a minute."
Yeah, 31 and 13. I don't think it should take that much of a minute.
It's so crazy when you think about it. This is literally the third time he's been brought into a team that they're like, well, this team's ready. We just need the last thing.
I think you
Grab
misheard
Doc
the quote,
Rivers.
though. He said, I was with ESPN for a minute. That's what he said.
Oh, he went on to say, what I'm trying to do really slowly is put some of my stuff and simplify some of their stuff. One thing you don't want to do, and we're so fearful of doing, is paralyzing their brain now that they're thinking it. So it's just going to take a while. It's very weird. Why should it take so much? I mean, they weren't that bad.
No, not at all. I'll see.
It's odd. Anthony Edwards was not pleased with the reffing after a Wolves win over the Thunder. Let's hear from AE.
I don't know. And I'm going to take the fine because the refs did not give us no calls tonight. We had to play through every bump, every grab. I don't know how we won tonight. Big shout out to my team. Big shout out to my coaches, for sure.
Audacious Anthony.
Very ostentatious. No. Anyways, I didn't get to this John Keim clip, but I want to hit before we leave because I know Michael's very interested in Belichick. John Keim on why the Commanders never contacted Bill Belichick.
Belichick was never on the radar. And Vrabel, I never heard his name either. Harbaugh, never heard his name. But I think some of that comes down to how they want to set the organization. They don't want to have a coach who has a tremendous amount of power. And you just hired Adam Peters to be the #1 football guy.
I was right.
Then, so I think that's a definite part of it. For all those coaches who've been around and been successful, they're going to want to have some say, more say in the operation than maybe what.
That's from Carlin versus Joe earlier. And that'll do it for ENN, brought to you by Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during their Starting Something New sales events. There you go, Michael. Makes sense.
Why? I mean, don't you want the best coach?
I know, but I just feel like once you go out and get a GM that you think is a big-name GM who can build a team,
Right.
I don't think
they want everything to be collaborative now in sports.
Like on this show. This is a collaborative show.
Oh, totally.
In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See you, everybody.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, a brand new edition of Yankees Hot Stove for all of us here on the Michael K. Show. This is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Guys, let's be honest. Buying pants sucks. It should not be this difficult. I'm looking for that one pair of pants that does everything.